evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Backwards Hat Productions. We're live, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, round one, race one, shall we say, of the NMNTS Monday Night Thunder Hunt. It's going to shape up to be a great race. It's currently a little overcast here. We've got about an 81 degree temperature with about an 83 degree track temp. It's going to make for some exciting racing. Folks, I'm joined up here in the booth tonight, a special treat. Ryan Daniels up here in the booth with me. Ryan, what's going on tonight, man?
Not too much, man. Looking forward to calling my first race, and got to be close to a year and a half since I've done it with a league like this. Did one a few months ago that me and a buddy of mine threw together, but first time I've done it with a legit broadcast company like Backwards Hat Productions in a long time, so looking forward to it, and just want to thank you for the opportunity.
Well, man, it's a pleasure to have you up here in the booth. We're going to take you live now, show you a little scoring, show you what's going on. There you can see the ticker. It's going to be Hunt driver PJ Popham on top of the board, Kelsey Rogers second, Jared Beasley third. Then you got to go all the way to the fourth spot before you find another Hunt driver. That's going to be Joe Burchett, who won at Charlotte a couple weeks ago, had a shot at the win last week at Indianapolis. Been nothing short of on a tear. And Ryan, this is one of the guys that a lot of drivers I've talked to said you're going to have to watch out for.
Yeah, Joe Burchett definitely been very strong all season. I had the opportunity to be out here earlier in the season and mix it up with some of these guys. And Joe Burchett, that 83 Tundra has been strong all season long, right there with some of the other guys who've been up front all season, like Kelsey Rogers and Jared Mogart, for sure.
Heck yeah, you spoke of Jared Mogart. He was your regular season champion. We're going to get a word with him now, a little pre-race, dial him up. Jared Mogart, this is Bradley Wilson, the Backwards Hat booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, we got you.
Well, man, you come into tonight and you've had just what some would call a miraculous regular season. Wrapped up the regular season points championship. 10 wins on the season. But as we know tonight, everybody's reset. You're going to start out with 10 bonus points, virtue of those wins. Man, race one, round one. How do you attack it tonight?
You know, we're just going to go out there and try and get the win here, and you know, that way we don't really have to worry about it when we get locked into round two. And it's kind of going to be the mindset here each round, is just try to get the win right away and get ready for Homestead if we're lucky enough to make it that far.
Man, stage points going to be a premium throughout the hunt. You've racked up enough of them tonight. Does it kind of change the way that you got to go into this thing, and especially, you know, collecting all you can, you just try to get to the front and stay there?
Yeah, you know, the fans that have watched the last few weeks, they've kind of seen where I've started in the back and, you know, kind of worked my way to the front stuff. Obviously, that mindset is gone. We need the points, so we'll qualify and try to stay up front and get as many points as you said. Every stage we've been pretty good at getting points all year, so hopefully we can continue that here in the chase.
Well, man, I want to kind of look forward a couple weeks real quick and throw this question at you. You know, Talladega Super Speedway is going to be the last race of round one, the eliminator race. What would it mean to a driver tonight like yourself to be able to lock your way in and be safe going into Talladega, knowing that, you know, you've got that bullet you can dodge where anything can happen, especially with stage points being a premium there?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, Talladega is one of them where anything can happen. You can be in the back just trying to ride and get caught up in the big one, or be up front trying to avoid it, and the big one can happen up there too. So, you know, if a playoff guy happens to get the win tonight, you know, Talladega is going to be easy for them, and for everyone else, not so much. But I don't know. You know, it's playoffs; anything can happen, and you just got to try and put together the best races that you can.
Heck yeah, man. We'll let you get down there and turn some more practice laps on the Las Vegas Motor Speedway tonight. But we want to thank you for joining us pre-race. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the fans for tuning in all year, and you guys and the other broadcast crew for doing the broadcast when they can all year long. It's pretty cool to be a part of it, and we're ready to rock and roll here for the playoffs. So hopefully it's a good show. Hopefully the fans enjoy, and hopefully we're talking to you at Victory Lane later.
Heck yeah, man. Well, good luck tonight, and yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing you there.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Well, Ryan, that was Jared Mogard, the driver of the #1 truck. As we mentioned, accolades, you know, too many to count, really. 10 wins this season, and you've got to think that confidence is pretty high in that one truck coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. Jared Mogard's just been an utterly dominant force throughout the season for the NMNTS Racing Series, and he's a guy who didn't even really start the first few races. I can't recall that he even made our Daytona 250 back in February. So for him to come from being where he was there to not only winning the regular season championship and being the leader in points right now, heading into the playoffs, he's certainly going to be one of the guys I think everybody's going to be trying to beat each and every week here for the remainder of the season.
Heck yeah, man. Well, another force to be reckoned with is the guy I believe you're fixing to dial up. Came in second overall in the regular season point standings, and that's the 5-star drafting truck of Zach Lindgren.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be pulling him up here in just a moment.
As you continue to watch practice go on, folks, Ryan's trying to dial up Zach. We're ready to go. 146 laps here tonight, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Las Vegas, Nevada. The NMNTS Monday Night Thunder Series. Like we said, this is race 1, round 1 of the hunt. It's going to be exciting, folks. Sit back and enjoy it. I believe Ryan has now got Zach dialed up, so go ahead, Ryan, and take it away.
All right, Zach Lindgren, this is Ryan Daniels in the Backwards Hat Productions booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, Zach, you come into the playoffs here at Las Vegas, second in the points, in that number 85 5-star drafting Chevy Silverado. What's your outlook for tonight here in Sin City?
I don't know, man. After the first practice we just had, you're full throttle pretty much for about 5 to 10 laps. So right now, outlook would probably be just survive. We're probably going to have some tight race cars, some tight race trucks. We're going to be searching for some lines there in the first few laps. So I feel like right now it would just be to survive.
Well, you definitely come into this first race in the hunt with a lot of momentum in that 85 machine. See the hashtag 85Leave or Believe on the windshield banner for you in that very bright neon machine that you have there for the 5-star drafting folks. And just curious, what do you think you fared for the championship this year? We know you came close last year, and obviously coming in second in the points, you got to figure you're going to be one of the main threats for it this season.
I hope so, but I mean, like we've seen in like real life racing and in this, anything can happen. Anybody can sneak up there and steal a spot from you. So I'd like to be one of the Final Four. I feel like if I can get into the Final Four, get into the championship at Homestead, I've got a pretty good chance at fighting for it, possibly even taking it home. But right now, we just got to take it week by week, round by round. Right now, my main focus is on this first round, how we finish, how well we run. These past few truck weeks that we've had, they haven't been kind to us. We've had up and down weeks, good finishes, bad finishes. We haven't really had a consistent, solid finish here for a few last weeks. So right now, that's what we're hoping for, just constant, consistent finishes. A win would be nice to kind of seal us up and take our worries away, but I mean, with the field that we've got, it's kind of hard to take that away from anyone. So right now, we're just looking at a consistent finish. But like I said, if I were to able to get into the top 4 like that, I think I've got a pretty good chance. But for right now, it's just about this first round and this first race.
Well, I've said this to you once before, and I believe the last time I said this phrase to you, you were able to get the win when I said it. So we know you know the way to victory lane. So I'm going to wish you the best of luck in that 85 machine tonight. And before I let you go, is there anybody out there you want to thank, bud?
Yeah, I want to thank everyone at 5-Star Drafting, putting the lettering on the car, the sponsor on the car, everyone over there. BA Graphics for putting the paint on the car. I think it looks pretty damn sexy with the neon green going on here. I think that looks really nice with it. Everyone watching, WFO, you guys up here in the booth for dedicating your time. Robbie, Bradley for putting on the show, and hopefully we have a good race. That's all we have for right now.
Well, we wish you the best of luck tonight, Zach, in that 85 machine, and you won't be hard to miss in that bright yellow and black 85, and again, we wish you the best of luck, bud.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, sir.
Well, a very confident, optimistic, you would say, Zach Lindgren, as he's mentioned not had a couple of races back to back here that would have liked the finishes. Would have got him the finishes that he would like to see, but definitely Ryan, not a guy that you can count out by any means.
No, certainly not. Like we said there, he knows the way to victory lane. He's done it a few times on these trucks, and he's done it in the Cup Series as well in the past. So we know that the 85 is going to be strong tonight. It's just going to have to be a matter of how, as he said, his luck fares. It's going to be all about with the way these trucks seem to be handling in practice, and like he said, them being wide open. We know the draft is probably going to play an effect early in the race, so it'll be interesting to see how closely grouped all these trucks are together, and I think that's probably going to have to determine how all of these drivers race the track tonight, and how people just try to save their equipment to the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely so. Ryan, couldn't have said it better myself. You know, one of the things about this track is we'll go on board with Gordon Larson here as he brings it to pit road, but actually, I tell you what, we'll go on board. Let's go on board with Kelsey Rogers in the Fire Rock Pale Ale truck. I believe they're being called to the drivers meeting, but what I wanted to show you all is we'll ride on board with Joe Burchett. Ryan, you know as well as I do, this whole track's starting to get some characteristics to it as Joe Burchett runs it low in one, and man, there's those weird bumps down there in turn one that can really upset the truck, and it's kind of an art of mastery to get around this place.
Yeah, it definitely is. Vegas is one of those tracks that's really, really tough on the tires. In my experience here, the most troublesome spots, especially in these trucks, are going to be on the exit of turn 4. As the tires get older, the truck really wants to push to the wall. And same thing out of turn 2, really, really bad. Sometimes even the tires get so worn out that it actually gets loose out of turn 2. So it's going to be really interesting to see with all the grip and everything these guys should have tonight with these overcast settings and all the, all the grip the track will have, how these trucks are going to be able to react to that. But I totally agree with you. I really think that these guys are going to be looking to really probably have to save their equipment, and those bumps can really upset these trucks. So it's going to be interesting to see who overcomes that the best and which lines are going to be the best to run as this track rubbers in and the race progresses.
Yeah, you know the track will take rubber. It's definitely going to be exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard us mention the hut once again. We're going to pull up the official bracket. Those are the time standings. We're going to pull up the bracket, though. There you see it. Mogard, Broderick, Spence Thompson, Craig Learman, Jared Wishon, Zach Lindgren, Joe Burchett. We're watching bring it to pit road now. Blake Falone, PJ Popham, Anthony C., Jackson Allen, who is yet to be in attendance tonight. Could be a story shaking up there. And John Kennedy sneaks into the last spot. Those are going to make up your guys. And right now, we're going to get a word. Let's see. I tell you what, I think I'm going to dial up the man who is always fun to talk to, Blake Falone, in that number 11 truck. Blake Falone. Well, hold on. We had him for a second, I think. Oh, you know what? It looks like we might have a problem there. I'll get a talk with...
Do you want me to move him up for you?
I think it's one of those things where we have he has to kind of dial himself up here. So give me 1 second. We'll talk to another guy, though. Joe Burchett, this is Bradley Wilson, the Backwards Hat Booth. You got a copy. Joe Burchett, this is Bradley Wilson, the Backwards Hat Booth. You got a copy. Well, looks like Joe may be away from the radio for just a moment. We'll move him back down there. Tell you what, I've got another plan. Let's talk to a guy that we haven't talked to a whole lot during the regular season. John Kennedy, this is Bradley Wilson, the Backwards Hat Booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, man, you snuck into the hunt. Final place on the board tonight. How's that 42 truck feeling in the opening practice laps?
It feels good on a long run, but short run we might be in trouble.
Well, man, I've asked a lot of the drivers, and I'm going to ask you. We'll cut to it first and foremost. You know, this is race 1 of 3. From here we go to New Hampshire, and then round 1's going to end at the always treacherous Talladega Superspeedway. What would it mean for a guy like you who came in and, sitting 12th on the board, a little low on the board, but what would it mean for you, man, to come in here, steal a win tonight, and have to dodge that Talladega bullet in a couple weeks?
It'd be huge. I mean, then we can just go to Talladega and race it out. But I mean, nobody wants to go to Talladega and be on the bubble.
Well, man, I was talking to some of the other drivers as well. You know, stage points will be in effect through the rest of the year. I know next year the NMNTS planning to get away from them, but tonight they're going to be a premium, and you know, it's not just enough to stay out of trouble, log laps, and try to get that good finish anymore. With the points reset, it could be anybody's ball game. Does that kind of change the way that you're going to attack it?
Yeah, I mean, to get stage points, probably going to be aggressive just to be able to get there.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, man, like I said, it was we wanted to get a talk with some of the Hunt drivers. You're definitely one of the guys with a lower seed that we wanted to talk to. Before we let you get out there and turn some more practice laps, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank Michael Redding for having me on his team, and all my friends watching, and my painter Stu, and you guys for putting this on.
Heck yeah, man. Well, go get them tonight, and who knows, with a little luck, maybe we'll be talking to you from Victory Lane.
Thanks.
Once again, that was John Kennedy, and Ryan, it's one of those guys, lower seed, you got to think that he's going to be looking to make something happen.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to be looking. He comes in here in the final playoff spot, just trying to do the best that he can, and he knows that in that final transfer spot that he doesn't necessarily have maybe all the bonus points that some of these other guys do or will. So he's going to have to work really, really hard. But it's like he said, you're not going to want to be on the bubble when he gets to Talladega. So if John Kennedy can come out of here tonight with a good finish, it's definitely going to be nothing but good towards his championship hopes for the remainder of at least the first round of the Hunt.
Yes, sir. Well, we see cars, still a few of them out there making laps. There is a few of the teammates, Anthony C. and Jared Rashawn out there in the 96 and the 98 truck, Elite Motorsports. A couple of good-looking Tundras, and you see by the green on the spoilers and numbers, Ryan, those are two trucks that are also going to be fighting for for a Hunt spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Jared Washawn and Anthony Colantuano there in the 98 and the 96. Both of those two teammates have run really, really well this season, but as you and I both know as well, when you get down into the playoffs here, the teammate thing kind of goes out the window. These guys are going to be racing really hard as we see them make some contact here in practice. A little bit of, looks like a bump gone wrong there on the 96.
Guys just kind of maybe feeling it out, seeing where you can push somebody, what you can do. But like you mentioned, this is the Hunt. Things have taken a little different toll, a little bit different electricity. You can just kind of feel it in the air with these things. And you mentioned it perfectly, man, that, to get into round two, teammates could go out the window. It'll be interesting to see. I believe the drivers' meeting is going on right now, folks. We're going to kick it over to a little more of the pre-race festivities. You're tuned into the pre-race show for the NMNTS Monday Night Thunder Series here on Backwards Hat Productions. We're happy to be back with you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The Las Vegas Motor Speedway drivers meeting's just about to take place. As we're gonna see, let's see if we can dial somebody up real quick. We've talked to a few of the Hunt drivers. Let's talk to Anthony C. Anthony C. This is Bradley Wilson, the Backwards Hat Booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, man, you come into tonight, have made the Hunt. Gonna be exciting 3 races here. What's the game plan, man?
Just keeping it clean and try being in the top 5, hopefully in the top 10 after each race. But basically just keeping it clean.
Well, I've talked to every driver. I'm going to ask you the same question. You know, you've got the Las Vegas Motor Speedway tonight. It's a little overcast. There's a lot of grip. Then you go to New Hampshire next week, which is could be a wild card for anybody, but the real wild card is going to lay week number 3, the Eliminator race, Talladega Super Speedway. What would it mean to you to be able to clinch your spot tonight and not have to go into Talladega with some worries?
Yeah, I didn't even think about the chase number 3, but yeah, hopefully a win will do it for me. But if it's not a win, at least trying to keep it clean and being up there in the top 5 just so I keep those points and hopefully a good race in New Hampshire. And we'll see what Talladega is because it's just a crapshoot on that one.
Well, man, I see you sitting about 14th on the board right now after practice. The old wise man once told me I never won hot laps, never won any money for hot laps. You playing them a little close to the vest or got a little speed left out there and got some work to do?
I don't know. Actually, I only did a couple laps of practice, so we'll see what I can do. But I think it's just everybody's full throttle. It's just the best line is going to be the fastest one. So.
Well, man, I see NASCAR Diecast fans, a proud sponsor of us here at Backwards Hat Productions, on the truck tonight. Good-looking Toyota Tundra. Anybody else you want to give a shout-out to?
My teammate Jared and all you guys out there watching and everybody in the broadcast booth.
Heck yeah, man. Well, good luck tonight. 146 grueling laps, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Going to be exciting.
Yes, thank you.
Once again, that was Anthony C., driver of the number 98 truck, Elite Motorsports. Ryan, it seems like all these drivers ready to go, but some of them with a little uncertainty.
Yeah, definitely definitely some uncertainty out there so far. Interesting to hear some of these guys with the skepticism, I guess, of how these trucks are going to handle. But it's like we said, I really feel like based on the way practice went and how close all of these times are together, I mean, the entire field really is only separated by not even 0.4 of a second with all the ability to be able to hold it wide open for those first few laps. So it'll be interesting to see what happens early on in the race.
Well, qualifying is underway now, folks. As we've mentioned before, it's a closed qualifying session here on the iRacing.com server, which just means these guys have 2 laps to try to turn the quickest laps. It's going to scroll through some trucks, but these drivers can't see each other. They've got a closed racetrack solely to themselves. Time should start rolling in here, Ryan, as you see Kelsey Rogers in the Fire Rock Pale Ale. There's Blake Falone in the Pokemon truck.
Yeah, these guys are working hard to set down a lap. Unfortunately, because I am not in the same mode you are, I can't actually see anybody putting down laps. But I am watching on the stream from your perspective, and yes, these guys are starting to put in some really close lap times right now. Spence Thompson has the pole at a 30.887. We'll have to see if that holds up.
The 2016 Monday Night Thunder champion's going to be quick time so far with a 30.887. You know he's going to want to return to glory. He was made the Final Four last year, Ryan, but come up just a little bit short. Hey, there's the guy we talked to pre-race. John Kennedy just for a second going to slip up there. There's Anthony C. Going to go to second on the board. Beasley now going to take it over with a 30.606. Some blistering times being set around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like the second lap so far for everybody has been the faster one. PJ Popham right now jumps to the pole at a 30.596. So he's the only person right now to go under a 30.6. So looks like the 25 might have the fastest flat foot car being able to hold it wide open for right now. But we'll have to see how that translates as well getting to the race as other people continue to set lap times. The top 3 right now, as we mentioned, are PJ Popham, Jared Beasley, and Joe Perchette round up the top 3.
Your PJ Popham going to be one of those Hunt drivers. Jared Beasley could play the wild card tonight as he started out the season with us, then had to miss some races, and ultimately just kind of been over there with the Mid-South Virtual Racing League running some dirt, as well as the Ghost Runner Cup Series on Thursday nights. But then you'd have to look no further than third, and there's one of the guys that, like I said, a lot of people mentioned going to be one of those guys you have to get around, Joe Burchett.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Perchette right now putting in that third fastest lap time there, actually tied with Kelsey Rogers at a 30.613 for that third and fourth position there on the charts. And Joe right now winning out that by having that third position. For him to start on the podium is going to be really big for everybody else because, as we mentioned, and as you just reiterated, Bradley, it's going to be really tough to beat Joe Perchette because he's just been one of those guys who's consistently been up front right there, as we mentioned, with PJ Popham and guys like Jared Mogard, who sometimes Jared has races where he just dominates and he's run up front constantly, and he's even had races where he comes from the back and moves up, and right now it definitely appears that it could be that way tonight because Jared Mogard ran a 30.684, and he's currently slotted in the 11th position.
James McKee, Trevor Harmon, one of the last 2 to qualify. McKee's going to go to 12th on the board with a 30.688. Trevor Harmon will be 14th on the starting grid with a 30.703. Well, we're getting down to it. Qualifying is wrapped up, and get a word with our pole sitter. PJ Popham, this is Bradley Wilson in the backwards hat booth. You got a copy.
10-4, Bradley.
Well, man, we're here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the 25 truck on top of the speed charts. Only one to run a sub-5 lap, man. Great lap. You think you got what it takes to punch your ticket into round 2?
I really do. The truck's fast. There's a lot of grip. It'll just be about staying out of trouble and managing your tires through a long run. So hopefully we can keep this old school motorsports Chevy clean, bring home a good finish today.
Well, man, you've got some drivers who have been through the hunt before. Everybody kind of knows what it takes to get it done here. But nobody's done it with stages. You know, you mentioned keeping the truck out of trouble, but still, with the points reset, everything's as close as it's ever been since we've been pretty much the points are as close as they were since we've unloaded off the transporters at Daytona. You know, how do you go about keeping it out of trouble, but at the same time capitalizing on every stage point possible?
That's going to be the magical question, man. Those stage points are going to be important, but 10 stage points to wreck it ain't worth it. So you're kind of walking a line there, and hopefully these guys give us some breaks, and we can race clean. So.
Heck yeah, man. Well, we'll let you grid up. Good luck tonight, and congratulations on being the Quick Time Award winner.
Hey, thanks, Bradley.
Once again, that was PJ Popham driving the number 25. Well, folks, you see him hit the grid. We'll call it out. How about that? I'll get row 1 right, and then we'll just trade off.
Sounds good to me.
Starting from the pole, we just talked to him tonight. He's one of the Hunt drivers in the 25 car out of the Northwest region. That's PJ Popham. To his outside, driver the number 15, JB Paints Silverado. That's Jared Beasley.
Starting in row 2, we've got the 83 of Joe Perchette in the Swamp Dust Seasoning Voodoo Machine. Joe Perchette again in that third spot. And to his outside in the Fire Rock Pale Ale 36 is Kelsey Rogers.
One row back from that, you've got the New Mexico driver, Zach Lindgren, in the 85 5-star drafting truck. To his outside, it's going to be a pair of Hunt drivers, the 98 truck of Anthony C.
Starting in the 7th position in row 4 is going to be the 96 Diecast Fans machine of Jared Wishon. And to his outside, the 00 of Gordon Larson Jr. is going to round out that 4th row.
One row back from that, filling in from Terry Mason in the Old Can Hancock's Quality Goods Silverado. That's the 90 truck of Davey Lamont out of North Carolina. To his outside, you've got the 2016 Monday Night Thunder Series champion, Spence Thompson.
Starting in the row behind them in row number 6 is going to be the number 1 machine for Jared Mogard, the points leader heading into the first round of the hunt. And to his outside, the number 8 of James McKee in the Monster Energy number 8 Toyota Tundra.
1 row back from that, the Pokemon machine, folks. That's the driver out of Florida. You see the green numbers. He's a hunt driver. That's Blake Falone in the 11. To his outside, you've got Trevor Harmon in the 27.
Starting behind them in the following row is going to be the 42 of John Kennedy in that white and red Toyota Tundra. And to his outside, the number 5, Jason Alexander in the Culligan Water number 5 Silverado.
1 row back from that, that's going to be Craig Learman out of New England. To his outside, the 21 of Blake Falone.
And then rounding out the field in the 19th position is going to be the 17 of Scott Lacoe. And in the final spot tonight, the Evil Outlaw, number 2, Michael Redding.
Here we go, folks. Get ready to go. 146 laps coming your way. PJ Popham going to look to lead them down. Pace cars in, hard left onto pit road.
Green, green, green.
PJ Popham on the loud pedal. We're away. Green flag in the air, Ryan. It looks like it's going to be 2 by 2 down into turn number 1.
Yes, it is. The 15 of Jared Beasley got a good start on that outside lane, but it looks like the 25 of PJ Popham is going to have him cleared by the time they get into turns 1 and 2. And it's going to be a dogfight for position behind them side by side through the field, all the way to the back of the pack.
Everybody's going to rock it down the nails straight away as we go into turn number 3. Still side by side for the most part, but it's going to be Popham, the 15 of Jared Beasley, and Joe Burchett on the 3-car breakaway out front.
Yeah, with that 3-car breakaway, it looks like the draft is playing into effect as the 83 of Joe Burchett looks to the inside of the 15 of Jared Beasley. Behind them, they continue to stay side by side with Zach Lindgren to the inside of the 36 of Kelsey Rogers.
Joe Burchett running in third, not for long. Here he goes. He's going to challenge for second down into turn number 3. Meanwhile, Zach Lindgren, Kelsey Rogers going to mix it up a little bit. There's Anthony C. and Jared Rashawn, a couple of teammates right behind them.
All these guys fighting really hard, Brad, as we look further back in the pack. The 1 of Jared Mogard started in the 11th position all the way already, up fighting for that 6th and 7th spot, passing the 96 right now on the bottom lane and looking out to the inside of the 98 of Anthony Colantuano as they head down the back straightaway. The number 1's looking to try to crack the top 6 here in only the first few laps.
Jared Mogard talked about he wasn't going to be running in the back long. Stage points are premium. Everybody's trying to get them as we come around to complete lap number 4. It's still PJ Popham showing us the way.
Yeah, PJ Popham continues to lead up front in a strong battle right now as he's starting to get some pressure from behind from the 83 of Joe Burchett, as we mentioned. And Joe is going to actually look to the inside now as they head down the back straightaway. Joe Burchett may have the preferred lane when they get into turn 3 here. That 15 truck's looking like they're waiting in the back, and there's a couple trucks back here on the apron. I'm not sure what happened, but we have the 85 is dropping way behind.
Looks like it's the 85 and the 90. Not exactly sure what was happening there. As we look, though, we were mentioning it, calling it out. Burchett looked to the inside on Popham, Ryan, but Popham going to close the door in 3 and 4 to lead another lap as they're going to rock it down the back straightaway once again.
Yeah, these guys continue to try to run away with it here as the entire field looks to start to single file out, but there are still a couple of side-by-side battles. For example, looking back to the inside again on Jared Mogard now is the 98 of Anthony Colantuano, and a big block by the number 1. Almost put the 98 in the grass right there. That was pretty close, and it continues to be tight racing up at the front. Those front 3 are bumper to bumper all up at the front right now.
Mogard shut the door. Anthony C. not having any of it. He's going to look again in 3. Now he's going to duck back in. Starting to single file out here, Ryan. We're going to see just who can hold it down the longest and who may be going to save some tires.
Yeah, for sure. And as I look back in the pack, a couple of teammates, the 85 and the 90, have separated themselves from the field. I begin to wonder to myself, as we saw the 85 slow down, are those two running in tandem as they are to just try to save their equipment for later on in the race, because everybody's running really, really hard right now. Another really good battle going on right now is the 89, the 42, and the 8 racing really, really hard back here on the back end of the top 10. all those guys battling for stage points at this point.
It's going to be Spence Thompson trying to crack the top 10 a little further. He's going to do battle with James McKee. This is for the 9th, 10th, 11th position. You see Gordon Larson in there as well. There's John Kennedy. Everybody's fighting for all they've got, Ryan. It's going to be a couple short stages here and then a long stint at the end. Going to be interesting to see how this one unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 short sprints of 25 laps each for the first 2 stages, and then we have the long sprint to the end there. Over, I want to say it's, what, 86 laps to the finish?
I believe that's about right. One of the guys who's already made his way up a few spots, he started 17th. That's the driver in the 43 truck. Still a little bit outside of those stage points, though, as top 10 are going to get paid, and he's running 13th.
Yeah, absolutely. Blake Malone looking really, really good right now in that 8th position, as you mentioned, after starting in the 13th spot. He's been able to kind of follow the same line, I think, as Jared Mogard, because the both of them started in the 11th and 13th positions, respectively, and both find themselves now well inside the top 10, with Mogard as well up in the top 5 now.
Well, Falone's one of those drivers, as you see him, he's also carrying our onboard tech cam. We talked about the bumps in turn 1, you saw it there, but Ryan Falone's one of those drivers who showed a ton of speed all season long, just seems to get snake bit. Maybe tonight he can shake the bad luck here in Sin City, roll the dice, and pick up that elusive first win.
Yeah, absolutely. Blake Malone is always one of those guys who's a strong contender in the NMNTS, especially the Truck Series, and you're right, that Pokemon machine looking strong tonight after starting, as we mentioned, in the 13th spot, running 8th now, and he is starting to catch that next group of 3 trucks in front of him, so perhaps you're right, he can gamble a little bit here in Sin City and do what he can to try to get his first win here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Well, back up front, you see it all single file. We've been 11 laps now, coming to 12. It's still PJ Popham who's led every one of them from the pole. Burchett gives chase, and Jared Beasley still right there just about where they started, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, absolutely. These top 3 have been able to single file out, as well as the entire field has been able to single file out, but these top 3 and 4 have really been able to kind of separate themselves from the field. And right now it's starting to look like, because they mentioned after 10 laps, these guys couldn't quite hold it wide open anymore because of the tire wear. I think this is where we're going to start to see these guys really having to save their equipment, as we see certain drivers like the 83 truck push a little bit higher now out of turn 4 than the 25 did. The 25 able to hold more of a tighter line to the bottom in that brightly colored red and black old school motorsports machine.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go on board, we'll show you a little gyro cam, see of what Joe Burchett's seeing, but we're also going to pull up the tack on that Toyota Tundra. You see it there, Ryan, just about 8,000 RPMs into 3 and 4. It never really drops down 76,000, but man, that is keeping them wound tight all night around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And there he goes, once again, going to draw right up on the tailgate of PJ Popham.
Yeah, he's all over the back end of that number 25 machine, but just behind him, Jared Beasley in that 15 machine, starting to look all over the back of the 83 as well. I'm beginning to wonder if the 25 machine is more of that short run speed when the tires are fresh, and as the run goes on, his truck's not handling quite as well. These guys do appear to be getting faster and faster than the 25, but that time the 83 again pushed out of turn 4, and the gap is going to open back up to the 25 for PJ Popham. And the 15 now, Jared Beasley is all over the back bumper of the 83 at Joe Burchett.
Fastest truck at the line still going to be PJ Popham in the 25 truck with a 31.623. Burchett runs a 31.715. You got to wonder, maybe Burchett lifting just a little bit, saving a little more as PJ as he tries to toe the line.
Yeah, absolutely. The 83 all over the back end of that 25. It looks like the 83's got a really good truck through the middle of the corner, but for some reason the 25 is just able to hold that momentum off a little bit better than he is and continues to hold that lead. Nothing really the 83 can do. He can get to the bumper of the 25, but he hasn't been able to put himself quite alongside him where I think he kind of wants to be able to try to make that move. But as I say that, they're now door to door as they go to turn 3. The 83 may finally pass the 25 of PJ Pop for the lead, but it's going to be a tight battle for 3 and 4, and the 83's loose.
Oh, Burchett gets the apron just a little bit. Popham uses the momentum off the high side. Popham retains the lead. Meanwhile, Burchett's going to lose a few spots. All the way back to around the 6th position. Now 7th as Anthony C. Mogard looked to make the move.
Yeah, absolutely. The 83 drops second all the way now back to the 4th position rather, and now may fall to the 5th position with the number 1 of of Jared Mogard looking to his inside as they go through 3 and 4. And as we talk, we continue to see the battle for the lead, and it's close between the 1 and the 83 that time. Both of those trucks wiggle as they come out of turn 4.
These guys got a little history. It dates back to Gateway in the midsummer part of the Hell Tour. See if maybe some old flames fire up here, but there goes Jared Washon. You saw him blink just a little bit, folks. It's nothing more than a little bit of a connection issue to the iRacing server. It usually clears itself up. Washon, another one of those drivers currently running inside the top 10. Rookie year with the NMNTS Monday Night Thunder Series, and you know he'd like to make some big waves.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's done a fantastic job this season as we continue to look, as I'm actually looking through the field right now as well, Bradley. We got a good battle back here, right at the back end of the top 10. This battle's still going on. The 11 of Blake Colon, the 8 of James McKee, the 00 of Gordon Larson, and Spence Thompson, all fighting for that final spot in the top 10 here as we get closer and closer to the end of stage 1 and approaching lap 20 as we speak.
As Ryan mentioned it, you're seeing it now. That's 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th fighting for a spot right there. Cover those 4 trucks with a blanket. Still anybody's racing, guys. We've told you that stage points matter. If you didn't believe us, look at Spence Thompson as he makes the move on James McKee down into turn number 1.
Yeah, he's been putting a lot of pressure all over the back end of that number 8 Monster Energy Toyota Tundra. And as I noticed through the field, Bradley, as I'm looking up front, we actually have a battle for the lead. To the outside is the 15 of Jared Beasley. But I was going to say, all these trucks appear to be moving up to that top lane, and the 15 is going to be the first one to make it work.
Oh!
And he's going to make the pass for the lead.
Jared Beasley going to take the lead. You saw Gordon Larson get a little bit loose through the trial, but it is going to be Beasley, the Alabama driver, to the lead. First driver other than PJ Popham to lead in 21 laps. First lead change, and these guys still hauling the mail around here. You got to think Kelsey Rogers in that Fire Rock Pale Ale truck maybe just kind of saving it a little bit, seeing how things play out as stage 1 starts to come to a close.
Yes, and while we were talking there, while the battle for the lead was going on, the 96 of Jared Washon got extremely loose coming out of turn 4, and he hit the wall very hard with that 96 machine, and it looks like he's having some sort of a steering issue as I'm looking at him live. That number 96 diecast van Tundra is not handling well at all for Jared Washon.
Well, there you see it from the roof cam. Right front fender, as Ryan said, mangled up. You see a little spoiler damage. Not something you want to see, especially if you're a Hunt driver, as he was up inside the top 10, now all the way back to the 16th position.
Yeah, he has fallen well back from where he was beforehand. He was running well inside the top 10, I want to say right around the 6th position. And as you mentioned, he has now fallen all the way back to the 17th position and continues to fall back, does Jared Washon. Definitely not what he's going to be looking for. He's going to have to hope that when the stage ends, they're able to get some of that damage fixed, because that 96 still looking really ill handling, especially in the exit of the corners now with all that damage to his right rear of the spoiler.
Well, laps have started to wind down. We saw Zach Lingard in the 5-star drafting number 85 truck kind of dropped to the back. He started to work his way back up. As right now, he took a look to the inside of John Kennedy. This is a battle for the 11th and 12th position.
Yes, it is, and as you mentioned, we saw the 85 fall all the way back to that 19th spot, and now, as you just said, he is battling for that 11th spot. He's going to be possibly trying to get that 1 stage point as they're coming to the end of this first stage, but it's going to be just a little bit too late, I think, for Zach Lingard. It's going to be that 1 spot short, and yes, there is the caution to the end of stage 1.
Stage 1's going to come to the completion, 25 laps. Jared Beasley going to pick up the stage win. PJ Popham 2nd, Kelsey Rogers 3rd, Anthony C 4th. It'll be Mogard in 5th, and that's going to round out the top 5.
And finishing in the 6th position for stage 1 is Joe Pritchett after that slide that he had in turns 3 and 4. 7th place is going to go to what I believe might be one of the biggest movers of the race, Blake Falone in the 7th position, Spence Thompson in 8th, James McKee in 9th, and Gordon Larson going to get that final stage point for finishing in the 10th position in stage 1.
Pace car is now out of turn number 2. You're going to see it pick up the leader, Jared Beasley. The Ford Mustang iRacing.com pace car. Everybody's going to get it woed up. It's going to be interesting to see, Ryan. We've talked about a little bit of strategy, but how I feel like 25 laps of green flag racing, everybody's going to come down, get 4 Mr. Feelgoods and a splash of that Sunoco racing fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. With what we saw there, clearly the group was moving up further towards the wall as that run went on, and there's going to be more rubber down on the track in the start of stage 2 here. So these drivers are going to be looking probably, as you said, to get 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel and see how their trucks handle now that the track has even more rubber on it. I can only imagine that the track is going to continue to get tighter, so it may become a situation by the end of this race where you're not able to hold it wide open anymore like they were in that first stage, and where the outside line may just be the most dominant lane all the time.
You're riding on board the roof, looking back at Jared Beasley. He started second. He's going to have the second pit stall. There they come. Everybody's going to make their way down. Zoom back out a little bit now. We'll see who's going to win the battle off of pit road. Want to note that Gordon Larson Jr. did stay out. I believe it's probably just to lead a lap, get some of those points. It'll be PJ Popham, Jared Beasley, and it looks like, I believe, the 98 truck of Anthony C. Yeah, Anthony C. going to come out in 3rd position. Higher up than he's put the 98 truck all night. You got to think he's going to be in a good position for stage 2.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic pit stop by that 98 crew to get the 98 out in 3rd spot, but also got to give a shout to the 25 as well. He came in that 2nd spot, and because of having the virtue of that first pit stall, was able to leapfrog Jared Beasley, and we know the inside line is going to be the place to be on the restart here with these tires. So PJ Popham, we saw him lead the majority of stage 1. Could he have enough this time, knowing what he knows now, to lead all of the laps in stage 2?
We'll find out. I tell you what, Ryan, why don't you dial up stage 1 winner Jared Beasley, and we'll let you get a word with him.
All right, sounds good. If I can find him in here. There we go. Sorry about that. Jared Beasley, this is Ryan Daniels in the Backwards Hat Production booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Ryan.
Well, we saw you, buddy, get out there and get the win in stage number 1. What were you able to learn for that, as you're going to have to try to get that lead back from the 25 again here as we begin stage number 2?
Well, I know it gets pretty tight towards the middle of the run, but towards the long run, it actually gets pretty loose out of 4. And that's where a lot of people were slipping. That's how I got past Joe and PJ. So definitely got to be careful through there, and hopefully maybe we can get this spot back. Pit crew was kind of slow, so maybe we can get them back on the track.
Well, you definitely showed some speed there as the run went on. It looked like you might have even had the best truck there as the race went on. You were the first one that I really saw being able to make that outside line work, and it worked so well you were able to take the lead away from the guy that led from the drop of the green. So before we let you go and try to battle it out here, is there anybody you want to thank?
I want to thank JB Paints and MR Motorsports and guys for putting on the show. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you for coming up here and talking with us, and we wish you the best of luck in stage 2, man.
All right, thank you.
Once again, that was stage 1 winner Jared Beasley, the Alabama driver. You heard him mention it, as the tires start to wear off, Ryan. It's getting a little slick out there. We'll see what it does as the track starts to take rubber. It's about 25 laps old, and here we go as they're going to double file up, and we get ready for stage number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we mentioned there, we saw it was a great battle up front. The front 2, PJ Popham and Jared Beasley, they started on the front row, and they've been 1 and 2 this entire race. So it'll be interesting to see if somebody like Anthony Collins-Uwano, as we mentioned, who is now in the highest position that 98's been in all the entire race so far, what he is able to do as the race progresses. And now that he is in such a good spot, maybe the 96 has something that we haven't seen yet quite up at the front.
Well, folks, you saw the initial start. It was on the green command from iRacing. Restart's a little different if you've never tuned into a Monday Night Thunder race. From the time the pace car puts all four onto the apron, it's all controlled by PJ Popham. He's got a restart zone. We're going to see where he fires off as the pace car gets ready to make that hard left onto pit road. It'll be Popham and Beasley, the only two that have led through the 29 laps here, leading us down. Pace car is off. PJ Popham wastes no time on the loud pedal. Green flags back in the air. Here we go, the start of lap number 30, and it's Popham out to about a 3-truck length lead.
Yeah, PJ Popham timed that restart perfectly. He got a huge jump on the rest of the field as it is side by side now with the 98 of Anthony Colantuano looking to the inside of the 15 of Jared Beasley. And behind them, Jared Mogard looks to be now side by side with the 15 of Jared Beasley. He wants that third spot.
Everybody's going to mix it up just a little bit. It'll be Popham showing us the way through 3 and 4. Anthony Colantuano going to be second, and here comes Mogard to third.
As you mentioned there, Jared Mogard, he does make that pass for third. The outside line does not appear that it has helped the 15 at all whatsoever on this second restart of the night. Jared Beasley falls from what was the winning vehicle in stage 1, now back to the 4th position as the second and third place machine of Anthony Colantuano and the one of Jared Mogard start to reel in. PJ Popham, the leader. It looks like the draft may be continuing to be in effect here early in the run as these guys are starting to pull back up to him just a little bit, and the rest of the field actually begins to close in behind the 15 of Jared Beasley as well.
Rest of the field going to follow suit. James McKee made a evasive maneuver down to the bottom in the back straightaway, maybe to try to go around Zach Lindgren. Nonetheless, it stacked him up just a little bit. And now it's going to be he and the driver of the number 11 Pokemon machine, Blake Falone, going to do battle.
Side by side there, as you mentioned, the 11 is looking to the inside of James McKee, but it looks like the momentum is going to help James keep that position to the outside as the 11 is going to go all the way to the grass almost on the front straightaway to try to make something happen. Up at the front, Jared Mogard now moving to that second spot. In the old days, Bradley, when I used to do this, we had a little thing called the Cannonball Award. It was awarded to the driver who had the lowest starting position and moved to the field the quickest. Right now, if there was a Cannonball Award for Backward Tap Productions, I'd have to give it to Jared Mogard. After starting at 11th, finds himself in second already after just 33 laps, and he wants this lead from the 25 of PJ Popham.
Mogard is on the move. I would say the Cannonball Award well deserved as he starts to track down PJ Popham. You heard Mogard say pre-race that he was going to waste no time getting to the front and trying to stay there. It's going to be interesting as, Beasley kind of methodically worked his way around PJ. Jared Mogard, a Hunt driver, comes in 10 wins on the regular season. We'll see, Ryan, if maybe he's shows that same patience or if maybe he tries to get to the front early.
Yeah, absolutely. He's certainly shown the pace to be able to get to the front. The question is, does he want to try to lead now and try to get away from PJ Popham, or does he wait until the end of the stage? But that was a little bit of a sketchy move there just then. The 15 got a huge run on the back of Jared Mogard. And Jared Beasley closed right into the back of that number 1 machine and cut him some slack. If it had been later in the race, I don't know that he quite would have lifted there.
Well, here we go. We're taking a look now. This is a battle around the 6th, 7th, 8th positions. You got a couple of teammates and a couple other drivers up here doing battle. You see Anthony C. slid back just a little bit. There's Kelsey Rogers from the Fire Rock Pale Ale machine. Spence Thompson and Zach Lindgren all right there. Cover those trucks with a blanket as they come off too.
And further back in the pack, I just saw it as I was looking back from the lead car. 27 of Trevor Harmon got loose coming out of turn number 4. A little bit of front end damage on that 27 Las Vegas Strong machine. Able to gather it back up, but he finds himself now running in the 18th position, trying to catch back up to the back of the 21 of Blaine Falone, who is now in the 18th position. So Trevor Harmon is actually in the 19th position.
You see it there, a little bit of damage to the right side of the 27 truck. We'll see if maybe Trevor Harmon's able to recover. Meanwhile, we go back up front, take a look at your leader, and it's still Popham by about 3 truck lengths as we head down to the stripe.
Yeah, the battle for the lead continues to press on here. As you mentioned, it is the top 3, basically almost under a blanket. PJ Popham does have a couple of truck lengths, but the battle is for second. Jared Beasley looking back to the inside of Jared Mogard again as they come out of turn number 2 and head down the back straightaway. Behind them, we've got the 83 of Joe Pritchett trying to close in with Anthony Colantuano right behind him, and a good battle right there. The fourth through about the 8th position, all under a blanket. The 98, 83, 89, and 85 all right together.
Well, as you mentioned, team orders out the window. It's hunt time, baby. Race 1. Everybody's going to try to lock in early. As you see, perfect example of it. There goes Zach Lingren to the bottom. He's going to try to make a move on teammate Spence Thompson.
Yeah, he tried to make that move and had a good run in the entry of 1 and 2, but lost the momentum coming out of turn 2. I have to say that I would think the 85 probably started to feel like it felt like he was going to push coming out of the corner in an effort not to hit his teammate there in the 89. As Spence Thompson might have lifted a little bit and fell back just a tad, but he's starting to get another big run as they head down the front straightaway, and it's kind of single filed out now for this battle. But the 89 of Spence Thompson now looking to the inside of the 98 of Anthony Colantuano as they head down the back straightaway again.
You can see it there. PJ Pophams continues to lead, and we get a look all the way back to around the 9th, 10th position, where you find James McKee, Blake Falone a little bit behind him. One note to mention, Ryan, the fastest truck in the field that last time by was the 8 of McKee, who ran just about a 10th faster than our leader.
Yeah, James McKee showing a lot of big speed right now in that number 8 machine. It looks like, to me, it could be that he's moved up again. A lot of these guys starting to move up on the racetrack, and the 8 machine has moved a little bit higher through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 than a few of these other guys. Not right now, as I can see a few other people ahead of him, but looks like that middle line is really working well for the 8 machine, and that perhaps that draft is helping contribute to his fast lap time, as we have another battle here for the 4th position. The 98 now looking to the outside of the 83 of Joe Pritchett.
Here we go. He's going to run it high, wide, and handsome through 1 and 2. Closes up to the back door. We'll see if he goes low. He does indeed. We could have a battle on our hands in 3 and 4.
Absolutely. The 98 looking for that crossover. He goes from the top to the bottom, and now the 83 is going to have the advantage with that momentum on the top side. He's going to pinch the 89 down, or the 98 down a little bit. And behind them, the 85 of Zach Lindgren looking to close in as well, as the battle for the lead is tightened up with Jared Mogard all over the back of PJ Popham.
Here we go. Beasley now going to make a run to Mogard. Saw a little daylight, runs it through the bottom of 1 and 2, right around the bumps. Closes in, not going to be able to do anything with him. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to lap 44. It's still PJ Popham where he's been most of the race up front. Jared Mogard from the 11th starting position all the way up to 2nd. And then there's Jared Beasley, fell back early off the virtue of that outside starting spot. Didn't get the start he wanted, but a nice rebound as he could be challenging for the lead here in just a few laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Jared Beasley, to me, looks like he's just biding his time, watching the battle for the lead, trying to pick his spot. Maybe these two will make a little bit of contact and give him that room to be able to try to win stage 2 once again. We are closing in on 5 laps to the end of the stage already. These laps clicking off really, really quick here with the torrid pace these trucks are setting.
5 laps to the end of the stage. We're looking at a battle. This is 11th, 12th, and 13th. You see the 11th position, Davey Lamont, the North Carolina driver. Then you've got John Kennedy, the 43 of Craig Learman, and the 5 of Jason Alexander. Kennedy and Learman, Ryan, those are 2 Hunt drivers that could possibly be missing out on a little stage points here.
Yeah, absolutely not having the runs that they want right now. But Jared Mogard, while we are talking here, it has looked to the inside for the lead, and that battle continues to get tighter and tighter. As we saw at the end of stage 1, PJ Popham just seems to fall off a little bit by the end of the stage. And while these top 3 have been fighting, the other drivers here in the top 10 have closed in. You can throw a blanket over the 98, 85, and 83, who are really closing in on the top 3 now. As really it's about a 5 truck group, 5 or 6 truck group that's starting to catch these front 3 with all the battling they're doing up here.
Definitely things starting to shake up about 1 through 6, 7 here. As you see them go down to the apron, Ryan, right now single file, it's not too big of a deal. But we get a little bit later in the race, and you've got to be careful using that apron, because as we've documented before, it's your responsibility if you go down there to say clear the guy that you're going down there to pass. That guy may not let you back up.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not that driver's responsibility to let you back up on the track if you decide to go under that white line. It isn't out of bounds like it would be at a place like Talladega or Daytona. And the 85 gets this, and we have a wreck for the lead.
Holy cow, PJ Popham, Jared Mogard, Popham hard into the wall. That's going to bring out our first actual caution. Wow, a lot of trucks torn up in that. We're going to go back, take a look at it as we were looking at something else. But ladies and gentlemen, the whole outcome of this race could have just changed. Ryan, as I get a look at it, we'll go back live here, live feed. It's almost, I tell you what, we're going to go take a look at it from the blimp. But it's almost what we were just talking about. The one truck goes to make the move down on the apron, and the 25 going to throw a little bit of the block there. And from there, the wreck's just kind of on.
Yeah, absolutely. The 25 just went down to cover that position. Was not clear. I don't know if the spotter just didn't let him know or what happened, but he just kind of cut off the one machine, and the 98 came along, nowhere to go. The 8 gets involved. The 83 is severely torn up as well. The 90 of David Lamont gets involved, back into the wall pretty hard as well. That might just very well end the night for the 25, and certainly the 8 and the 83. Some very heavy damage. That 83 machine's engine was actually blown for Joe Burchett, so this could be a huge hit to him in the championship points.
We're taking a look at it right now from the cockpit. You see things happen fast. Anthony C with nowhere to go. We're going to slow it down, actually, take one more look at it. You're going to see, coming off of turn 4 right here, you see it, there starts the smoke. Anthony going to try to make a little bit of an evasive maneuver. Popham's got him locked down. Unfortunately, going to slide back up into the surface, and wow, look at that contact. A lot of good trucks going to be early, including the 83 of Joe Burchett. Popham's going to go for a wild ride in the 25 truck. Holy cow. We've mentioned how quickly things can change, how the landscape of it all can change. And that's what happened. As you see, 2 trucks that were strong up front. Mogard's going to continue on, but unfortunately, that could end the night. It's going to end the night for PJ Popham, most likely.
Yeah, PJ Popham has pulled it to the garage area. That 25 machine is done for the race. The 83 of Joe Burchett, as we mentioned, came to the pit lane in a cloud of smoke. That 83 Swamp Dust machine does appear to be done, at least for a little while. The 98 of Anthony Colantuano, who was having a very good run up at the front, he is also in the pit lane. Looks like the driver has also exited the truck, so the crew is just working on it in the pits. The 90 of David Lamont, who was just trying to have a good run back there, ended up getting collected as well. But one driver who this may help a bit is somebody that we mentioned early on in Stage 2, the 27 of Trevor Harmon. He had that moment where he got really, really loose, was running at the back, had that damage, was able to come to the pit lane, avoided that crash, and has now gotten that 27 Las Vegas Strong machine repaired, and Trevor returns to the racetrack, and he's going to be back inside the top 15 with all the trucks that have headed to the garage.
Definitely going to be some different approaches here, as you mentioned. Trevor Harmon has been able to bring it down to the attention of the crew a couple times under this caution. A couple drivers' misfortune is going to be a couple drivers' gain. I tell you what, while we're under caution, you see the light still on the pace car. I'm going to dial up Zach Lindgren, who is currently running in the 3rd position. Zach Lindgren, this is Bradley Wilson, the Backwards Hat Booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, man, race 1, round 1 of the hunt already. It was pretty tame through about the first 50 laps, and then we're going to see some excitement. Man, tell us what you were thinking as that wreck unfolded, and you know, how the truck's been for you, through the first 50 laps.
I'm kind of grateful I almost spun out of 4 right then and there. If I didn't, I would have been right with Anthony, and we probably would have been caught up in that. But I don't really know what to think about it. I was, like I said, I was kind of too busy saving my truck out of 4. We got really loose on the bottom. I was hoping I could save it up, but got really loose out of 4. Trying to get everything calmed back down. I look up and I see smoke. I don't know, man. They were both on the apron, and I guess they just got into each other. I don't really know what happened. We were trying to get on the brakes as hard as we could, but try to keep some position for the stage. I don't want to jinx us right now, but it worked out to the best for us. I don't want to see Hunt drivers go down like that. I saw Joey get in it. I saw Anthony get in it. I don't know about a few others, but I mean, that's not one way I want to gain positions. It sucks for them. I don't like it like that, but I mean, That's all I saw, man. Just a contact on the bottom, and that was that.
Smoke, some spinning trucks, and a great job of avoidance. Hey, man, lights are off on the pace car before we let you go. Saw you drop back early on. Was that by plan or accident?
It was by accident. iRacing. I got the good old screen freeze. It froze on me going down the backstretch coming out of 2, and I didn't want to try to stay up there and keep full throttling it, so I tried to drop to the apron and drop back. I didn't want to ruin anybody's day, especially my day, so we just dropped to the back. We learned a lot, actually, way back there, trying to gain people, trying to save some tire and be fast, so we learned a lot, actually, so hopefully it helps us in the long run here.
Well, man, we're going to let you get back to it. Good luck, and see if you can't close this thing out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Once again, that was Zach Lindgren. He's going to start outside the front row. Jared Mogard awarded the EOL for that last incident. So notable. It's going to be notable to see what Mogard can do coming back through the field. But pace car's off, and we're about to get ready to go back racing here. Pace car is off. Beasley going to drag him through the box. Now gets on it. Loud pedal. Green flag back in the air. Ryan, we're back to racing. It's going to be 94 laps to go. The stages are all done. Now it's time to put it on the table and show what you got.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 15 may have been able to do something there that he was really excited for. We mentioned before as the laps were closing in stage number 2 just before that wreck that the 15 might have been saving his stuff, waiting to see if something would happen with the leaders. Sure enough, it did. So Jared Beasley did win stage 2, so he has capitalized and been able to win the first 2 stages. Now, with all the misfortune that has happened to some of the front runners, and with the number 1 of Jared Mogard, who was oh so fast, having to serve that EOL penalty for the caution there, having to restart once again from the back. It'll be interesting to see if anybody has anything for this 15 truck as the laps continue, but obviously a long way to go yet.
Well, Beasley could play the spoiler. Meanwhile, guys like John Kennedy in that 42 truck, we spoke with him earlier. He's found himself up inside the top 10, looking for top 5 possibly. John Kennedy looks to maybe able to capitalize off some others' misfortune as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned early in the race, in fact, you did, Blake Falone looking to gamble here in Sin City, trying to get that first win. That Pokemon truck was able to avoid that crash, and he started in 13th position tonight, now finds himself in 3rd and closing in on the back of the 89 of Spence Thompson. Blake Falone may just have something to say about this win before the night is out.
Well, you see all the green numbers up towards the front, but meanwhile back up at the front, it's still Jared Beasley. One of the only guys to have led this race. We're 56 laps in. Other than the 2 stage cautions, we've had 1 other caution, that coming when PJ Popham, Jared Mogard made some contact going through the tri-oval. As I believe we're seeing... we were going to see if we could get a word from the infield with PJ Popham. It looks like he has vacated the radio channels, though. As we look through here, I'm still looking around. I tell you what, we're going to talk with one of the guys who was involved in it. Davey Lamont, this is Bradley Wilson of the Backwards Hat Booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Brad.
Well, man, a tough break for the 90 truck. It's going to go off on the hook behind the wall. Tell us what you saw there.
Just a little too over-aggressive driving just early in the race. I know it was a stage 4, but at lap 50, I mean, you got to run. I mean, I know it's trying to get the point, but for about a good 5 trucks right there. We had an issue with picking earlier, got took in the back, but got all back up, trying to get in the top 10, and just had nowhere to go. So, I mean, a little over-aggressive, just need to be a little bit more cooler head next time, I think.
Well, man, I know it's going to be a sour exit for the 90 truck as you were just coming out here in your second start with WFO Motorsports, looking to maybe put together a good finish. But, you know, in the bright side of things, I've heard that you've been offered the contract to drive a truck next year on Sunday nights. So possibly good things to come. We do want to thank you for coming up and having a word with us here. Before we let you get out of here, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank Backwards Hat putting this race on. Robbie for the admin in it. WFO giving me the opportunity to drive a truck this year and looking at next year. Felt pretty good, felt fast, but Hey, Zach, man, good luck here. Let's take some points here backing up.
Heck yeah, man. Well, like I said, tough luck. Maybe you'll be able to repair it and just go out there and log some laps. But hopefully we'll see you back in action next week at New Hampshire.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be back. We got about 50-minute repairs, so it might be actually good. We'll try to lift back out if we can.
Heck yeah, man. Well, like I said, once again, thanks for coming up and giving us a few minutes of your time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, you can hear the heartbreak, Ryan, and the driver who was just coming out here. Nothing really to gain, just looking to have a good run. And unfortunately going to see his night end right around lap number 50.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a feel for the driver, the number 90 there, David Lamont. I've been in his position trying to get a seat in a position for a really good team here in this series, and even in the same trucks, basically, that he was fortunate enough to be in tonight, and definitely a heartache whenever you're unable to finish in such good equipment and surrounded by good people like he is with the WFO race team, but he'll have another chance at it coming up, as you mentioned, in the following weeks and next season to come. So hopefully he can keep his head up and able to get that 90 back on the racetrack. I know looking through the field right now, some of the best battles we have on the track are for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position, and behind them, the group behind them as well, the 36, 43, and the 8 are also all three under a blanket.
Yeah, we were watching a little bit of this battle right here. It's Craig Learman, James McKee in front of them, Kelsey Rogers. McKee going to drive it to the white line in 1 and 2 now, see if he can do anything with Learman. The momentum is going to prevail, though. Learman holds on to the spot for just a moment. You see Learman, one of the other drivers sporting the Hunt colors. He came in a little bit lower of a seed, but, you know, with the points reset and the way things work out, Popham, his teammate, has a little misfortune, but Learman's going to be up inside the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And another guy to mention while we're mentioning the point situation would be the 42 of John Kennedy. We mentioned he is the last driver in the chase right now, or was at the start of this event. He's currently running in the 5th position, and he's trying to make up a spot on the 85 with Zach Linger and try to get into the top 4. So huge day for that 42 machine. If he can successfully stay up front here and possibly contend for the win, he could go from the worst driver or the final playoff spot right at the start of the night to potentially locking himself into the 2nd round.
Could go outhouse to the penthouse. We mentioned these drivers are going to automatically advance if you get a win, but Ryan, you just kind of inadvertently hit on something. Only 3 races, the points reset in between each round. And right now, everybody's a little equal, and with the way the points shake out, you could have just used up your mulligan or be playing behind going into New Hampshire and Talladega.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned at the start of the race, especially the 83 Joe Pritchett mentioned in his pre-race interview, that he didn't want to have to be on the bubble going into a place like Talladega because it's such a wild card event. And you certainly don't want to have to try to be up front in a race like that because everybody in the field is going to have a chance to win that race. And tonight's events so far have definitely been dangerous for those drivers who have had that kind of an issue. And again, to somebody like John Kennedy, this is a huge opportunity for him to be able to capitalize on that and maybe not have to be in such a dangerous position in 2 weeks' time when they head to Talladega.
You know, we talk about John Kennedy, not only has he made a run up through the field right now, he is currently your BA Graphics hard charger as he's came up 10 spots from 15th to 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. He's shown a lot of good speed tonight in that 42 machine right now, battling side by side with the 36 of Kelsey Rogers, trying to hang on to that top 5 spot. But as you mentioned, he is one of the biggest movers as well, right there with the 11 of Blake Malone, who still continues to ride in that 4th position. And up at the front, Spence Thompson has slowly but surely at least kept pace and started to reel in the 15 of Jared Beasley. Those two have really separated themselves from the field. Almost a full second, maybe 2 seconds back to the 3rd place position of Zach Lindgren, while the rest of the top 10 continues to be just about right together.
You see Beasley going to continue to lead the way after the mishap under the last caution. Beasley really been nothing short of amazing so far, but right now I do want to give a call out to the guy in that one truck once again. Ryan, fastest truck that last time by almost a tenth. You've got to think, knowing that the stages are over, and if this thing goes green, it could be all how bad.
All right, man.
Big crash. The 11 just flipped over out of turn 4.
Oh, heartbreak. Blake Falone, we talked about him being snake bit. Looks like it's going to happen again. We're going to go back and take a look at what happened here for the BB Racing number 11 Pokemon truck. Falone's going to get it a little out of shape. Went to correct. Holy cow, look at that ride. Ryan, it's one of those things we talked about and we heard Jared Beasley talk about. We're going to slow it down, show you a little bit of it from the roof. You're going to see this truck make a bobble. Right there, you can hear the tires. It starts to bobble. Look at that wild ride. But it's one of those things, Ryan, we talked about. Truck just lost a little bit of ground, or a little bit of grip coming out of 4, and before he knew it, he's nose into the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. He was running right there with the 36 of Kelsey Rogers, who was right behind him, who actually has a little bit of right front damage, obviously, from the contact that he made when the 11 swung back into the outside wall. And you said it perfectly. The 11 just got a little bit loose, maybe had a little bit of air come off of that left rear spoiler. Got loose coming out of 4, tried to save it. And the reason I reacted the way I did was I really thought he had it saved, and that truck just hooked right really hard. And that's a heartbreaker, as you mentioned, for the 11 of Blake Falone. He was having such a great run tonight. Again, one of those drivers really trying to capitalize on the point situation. And as you said, it got snake bit here in Las Vegas, and he's just going to have to see if he can salvage whatever he can out of the remainder of this race.
Man, look at that truck get up in the air as we take a look from the in-car camera of James McKee. Unfortunately, it's going to get up in the air and kind of land right there on the hood. But, folks, that is how quick it can happen. Don't look like it's too much damage to the 8 truck. Actually, he may have suffered. Actually, that truck still looks pretty clean. I was going to say sometimes you luck out. Looks like James McKee might have done just that. But, man, heartbreak for the 11 truck. And that's going to bring out only our second racing caution. We've had 4 cautions tonight, folks. 2 of those being stage cautions. So
actually, we've only had 3 cautions.
3 cautions, that's it, because one of them happened right at stage's end, going for the stage win. So that would have counted as a stage caution. So 3 cautions tonight for 13 laps of the 72 ran. It's going to be 75 laps to go. And it's still going to be Jared Beasley showing us the way. Spence Thompson second. Zach Lindgren going to be holding on to 3rd. And John Kennedy up to the 4th spot. Kennedy still just kind of taking it easy, Ryan, laying in there, and once again is going to capitalize off of another Hunt driver's unfortunes.
Yeah, absolutely. He also, much like the 8 machine of James McKee, really lucked out there. Did make some contact with the 11 when he flipped over, but doesn't appear to be any significant damage to the 42 at all whatsoever. A little bit of crinkled damage on the right rear fender for that 42 Tundra, but other than that, John Kennedy continuing to, as you mentioned, pick the bones, you could say, of those drivers who have had some misfortune tonight, being able to find himself right now in that 4th spot. It'll be interesting to see what he can do on this restart, as once again the field is shuffled up a little bit. One driver we haven't even, I don't know that we've really mentioned tonight, Craig Learman, started in 17th. He's going to find himself in 7th on this restart.
Learman and the Coca-Cola machine, you're right. Hey, one guy that we haven't really talked about, we've kind of been, spotlighting your Hunt drivers, but that's the 17 truck of Scott Lacoe. He started 19th, he's up to 10th. See if we can get a word with him, see how that 17 truck's handling the Dalton Do-It Center ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scott Lacoe, this is Bradley Wilson, the Backwards Hat Booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Well, you're doubled up, 1 to go. We're not going to take too much of your time, but man, coming up from the 19th position to 9th, how's that Dalton Do-It Center number 17 Tundra feeling for you?
It's good. Last segment there, I tried to stay a little higher, and on the early run, I just saved tires. I think if we can get a long run, you know, saving tires early are going to help at the end. So that's what we're going to try to do on this stage as well.
Well, man, we're going to let you go, but like I said, we've been highlighting some Hunt drivers. I looked up and said, hey, man, Scott Lico's up 10 spots. Let's get a talk with him. So good luck tonight in that Dalton Dewitt Center Toyota Tundra.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Right, as you know, Dalton Dewitt Center, the sponsor on that Tundra, come on just a few weeks ago, was one of the race sponsors here on Monday night. So definitely appreciate Scott for that. And, man, 9th. 10 spots up from 19th tonight, and sounds like he may have something figured out.
Yeah, absolutely. Done a really good job of being able to salvage the night, being able to pick up spots and work well. And again, he's going to find himself in the 9th spot here as we come to the restart.
Jared Beasley on the loud pedal. Green flags in the air. We're off and away. He's going to gap Zach Lindgren by about 3 trucks going into turn number 1. Lindgren's going to take second. Spence Thompson's going to fall in line back to third.
A lot of these guys getting single file quickly here. We mentioned the 43 of Craig Lehrman. He's going to be the odd man out, it looks like, after restarting in the 5th spot. He's going to maintain the 6th position as they head down the back straightaway, but as they get into turn 3, the 1 of Jared Mogard back into the top 10 again now. Finally starting to be able to recover from that EOL penalty after the contact made from the caution that ended stage 2. He now finds himself again back inside the top 5, or knocking on the door of the top 5 rather, and you know that Jared Mogard is going to want to capitalize on this. He comes into this race as first overall in the playoff standing, and now once again with all the misfortune that's happened to everybody else, wants to try to spread that gap as far as he can for the next 2 weeks.
Well, here we go. He's going to close up right on the tailgate of Jason Alexander in the 5 truck. Looks to the bottom. Going to use up every bit of real estate there. Inches it ahead. We're going to go side by side into turn number 1, the battle for 5th and 6th.
And it looks like it's going to be a pretty easy pass in retrospect to the number 1 of Jared Mogard. Easy work of the 5 as he's able to just clear him coming out of turn 2, and now sets his sights on another fellow playoff driver, that 42 of John Kennedy, who runs in the 4th position. That one machine, based on what I'm seeing, Bradley, he just seems to be able to get to the bottom a little bit better than everybody else on the entries from 3 and 4.
He's definitely got it moving. Hey, we want to give a shout out to some of the folks out there in the Backwards Hat Nation. Lou Oleski out there, good afternoon. What's up, man? We hope y'all are enjoying the show. Joe Burchett, definitely not a fan of Jared Mogard, as you can see it out there in the chat. Burchett tuning in. Hey, if you're out there in the chat, drop us a line. Let us know where you're tuning in from, how you're enjoying the show, as we've been off for quite a little while. We're back now, though, with the Monday Night Thunder series here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, absolutely want to thank everybody for tuning in so far tonight. If you're out there watching the show, we're hoping, if you're out there watching the show and you would like to ask some questions, please feel free. I am been able to be trying to converse with people in the chat. RD Nation 1328 here in the chat. I am Ryan Daniels in the booth here, just trying to get in touch with you guys. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them.
Well, we go back up front here. It's still Jared Beasley. Zach Lindgren was the fastest truck on the racetrack that last time by, as he is pulling it. I tell you what, we're going to take a look right now, do a little telemetry gazing as we look at the tach. There you see it. We're looking at race leader Jared Beasley, the live feed from the tachometer, right about 7,800 RPMs as he takes it down the front stretch. It's going to peak out right around 8250. Like I said, these things are hauling the mail and definitely got them wound tight all night, Ron.
Yeah, these guys have really been able to push these trucks really hard. And I think another reason for the looseness we've been seeing is because these guys keep it wide open for so long. These tires are just wearing out so quickly. We heard Jared Beasley say as well that, and as we possibly alluded to at the beginning of the show, that as the tires wore out, they were going to tighten up, but because of the torrid pace these trucks are able to set, all the grip just suddenly wears off those things, and this truck goes from being super tight and pushing like a dump truck to be driving like you're on ice. So it's going to be certainly interesting to see with these longer runs here at the end and not having those stage breaks after 25 laps, who's able to overcome that the most when it comes close to being time to the end of a pit stop range.
Definitely, all things considered, it's going to get down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to take a look right now, run you down through the top handful of trucks as you see them going to go around the evil outlaw of Michael Redding in the 2 truck. Jared Beasley going to continue to lead. There you see Zach Lindgren in second. Third will be Spence Thompson, and look at that, still on the climb. He's up from 15th to 4th. That's 11 spots, and that's John Kennedy.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you're running down through the field, real quick, we do have a battle for the lead. The 85 of Zach Lindgren right now working on the apron, trying to get side by side with the 15 of Beasley, but Jared Beasley is going to pull him on the straightaway as they head into turns 1 and 2.
These two definitely no stranger to each other. Some great battles seen all through the 2017 season. And even in the limited number of appearances Beasley's made, it's been a front-running show. So these guys definitely know each other, know, you know, maybe where the weakness is. And you got to wonder, Ryan, Zach Lindgren kind of just riding right now, following in Beasley's tire tracks there. You got to wonder, maybe Zach Lindgren sizing him up, trying to see where he's better.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, again, that I noticed that the 85 is doing, he's able to maintain that momentum on the top and keep his pace right with the 15 by running that top lane while the 15 is running the bottom. I have to think that as the run goes on, with the way the 15 kind of pushes out of the corners, that's going to wear his tires more. The 85 may be sitting right in the catbird seat, as they say, to try to get this lead here shortly, as he's all over the back bumper of the 15 of Jared Beasley as they go to turns 1 and 2.
Made a move to the outside, going to run it high, wide, and handsome. Beasley going to take basement to the attic there. It'll be Beasley holding on, but you got to wonder, does Zach Lindgren have anything for the man who's been nothing short of dominant tonight? Spence Thompson, meanwhile, got to be loving what he's seeing sitting there in third, just praying that these guys may get side by side, because if that happens, it's going to suck up Spence Thompson, and then behind Thompson, you've got Mogard and Kennedy who are laying in wakes. Anything really could happen, as we've seen in the early stages of this race already.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys all racing really, really hard throughout the field, and it has become a spread-out affair. Right now, I'm looking further back in the pack, just seeing if I can give a shout to anybody. And another driver we haven't really mentioned is Jason Alexander, running in that 7th spot after starting 16th. Him and the 43 of Craig Learman running side-by-side, or nose-to-tail, rather, as they come by the line here to start lap number 87.
The Culligan Water number 5 truck, the driver out of Indiana. You know, interesting story behind that truck. Jason Alexander, actually a driver for Culligan Water, so hauls the water during the day, hauling the mail tonight here with the NMNTS Monday Night Thunder Series. Good to see him make a start. As you've got Learman going to look low through 3 and 4 down the trial. We'll see if he tries to make anything of it. Looks like he's just going to file single file here.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to end up single file again. And right now, up at the front, we do have some lap traffic. The 36 of Kelsey Rogers is going to run the bottom lane, and I think that might have taken away the preferred lane of the 15 of Jared Beasley. The 85 may be able to get some momentum here, but it does also look like the 15 has still been able to just keep that line, even though the 85 seems to have a little bit more momentum out of the corners. The way the 15 is running, the 85 just can't seem to get to the bottom to try to make that pass on Jared Beasley whenever it is he gets to the back of him.
You've got to wonder, you know, these trucks punch a big hole in the air. Folks, this is the iRacing.com simulator, but don't think for a second that it's not aero sensitive, as this has been deemed one of the most realistic simulators to date. And Ryan, I know you can speak of this too. These trucks do punch a big hole in that air, and sometimes aero-tight is a factor.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nowhere near quite as sensitive as maybe the Indy cars are here on iRacing, but the trucks for sure, because of that big hole in the air that they punch, it does allow for a big area to pull up, as we've been able to see for the most part with the 85. He is, because of that air, able to pull up to the back of the 15 of Jared Beasley, but by the time they get to turn 3, the 85 has to run that little bit of an upper lane, knowing that if he's running the bottom behind the 15, he's surely either going to get loose as the tires wear, or he's going to hit the wall for being overly tight behind him. So that could be the very reason why he has not been able to get side by side. But this time he's all over the right rear quarter panel of Jared Beasley as they head to 1 and 2. And the 85 is going to drop to the bottom and may get a good run here out of turn 2. It may be a battle by the time they get to turn 3.
Folks, we've been spotlighting the leaders because as you can see right now, the lead, it's all kind of single filed out as you can see from the faraway shot. And right now the battle for the lead is the one to watch on the racetrack. Zach Lindgren trying to punch his ticket. Maybe have to dodge the monster at Talladega. He's going to run it to the outside once again. You've got one at the basement, one in the attic as they're going to go through 1 and 2. Looks like Beasley's going to slide up though. Takes the line away and it's going to be Zach Lindgren. Falls back in. But here we go. Once again, we're going to go at it in 3 and 4.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do believe it has worked out as we thought. The 85, maybe running that higher line, has finally been able to save his tires that little bit. The 15 on the outside, the 85 looks to the bottom, and now they're side by side as you come to the start-finish line. The 15 still leads that lap, but it looks like the 85 may have a nose on it by the time they get to turn 3, and the 15's running the top behind that slower vehicle of the 2 of Michael Redding. He may have to check up here. It's going to be close as they come out of 2.
Oh, Redding tried his best to give him all the real estate he could. Unfortunately, Beasley was digging the high side. That's going to allow Zach Lindgren to take the lead. First time the 85 truck's led all night, and it comes with 53 to go.
Yeah, absolutely. The first time, as you just said, the 85, Zach Lindgren finally going to lead a lap here. And just behind them, you mentioned it before, that if something happened to these leaders, the 89 of Spence Thompson was waiting in the wind to try to make us move. And with that bobble by the 15, because he was unable to get around the 2 so quickly, or not so quickly rather, it has put the 89 of Spence Thompson right to the battle for the lead, or at least close enough to the battle for second place to try to do something with Jared Beasley.
You see it right here from the gearbox. There's Spence Thompson stalking Jared Beasley. This is the battle now for second and third. You know, you got to give an applause to Beasley as he's fell no further than the top 5 tonight. Another guy that you kind of got to give a shout out to, we want to mention at least, that's Gordon Larson on the Larson Remodeling 00 truck. Ryan, heartbreak for Larson. He was the 2017 Grand National champion. Missed out on the hunt by a mere, I believe when I looked at it, it was 30 points. He was sitting outside of it. So heartbreak for Larson, but definitely a good showing as he stayed inside the top 10 all night. Started 8th, currently running 9th.
Yeah, absolutely. Gordon Larson Jr., the underdog champion of the year, I would say, in 2017, able to capture that Grand National Championship on what was an absolutely immaculate strategy at the end of that race, being able to stay out or pit earlier than everybody else and get himself out in front, which ultimately won him that championship in the Grand National Series. And again, as you mentioned, just a few points that kept him out of the chase this season, but a good solid run by that 00 right now, running in that 9th spot. And you know he's going to want to continue to move up. If they can get another caution here or play some pit strategy, Gordon Larson's one of those guys. He could definitely make some moves here late in the race.
And you mentioned won the championship on an immaculate pit strategy. We've got 50 to go. We've been under green now for about 30 laps. You know, fuel strategy is going to come into play, and Gordon Larson won a championship on it. Could just win him his first race of the year.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is definitely a track where you could do it. We've seen how much the tires change over the course of the run. It'll be interesting to see as the race continues to go on. We, I would assume, are getting closer to the pit stop window. Unfortunately, I don't actually know what the fuel window is for these trucks, but it'll be interesting to see as the run continues on. Does anybody start to short pit here, Bradley?
It's definitely something. Short pitting could force the leader's hand. If you're a guy like Gordon Larson, it's definitely also couldn't hurt you. Right now, we're back up front, though, and it's going to be Spence Thompson to take over the second position. The fastest truck on the racetrack that time was the 85 of Zach Lindgren. The time before that, it was the guy you see starting to creep back in your picture, the 1 truck of Jared Mogard.
And you said it just then, Jared Mogard is closing in, and he's catching the 15 of Jared Beasley in a hurry right now for that spot. And we just mentioned vehicles that are coming back, or rather people that needed to try to salvage some points. Earlier on in this race, the 98 of Anthony Colantuano was involved in that wreck. He finds himself 50 laps down. Anthony's returning to the racetrack. He's going to be obviously trying to pick up some of those spots for maybe a couple of the other vehicles that have not been able to finish this race. It'll be interesting to see if Anthony is able to do anything.
You see the Plan B cells, NASCAR diecast fans, Toyota Tundra, all beat up as it looks like Colantano is going to bring it back to pit road. Definitely a little bit of never say die here, though. Going to try to go out, maybe get some points. Back up front, it's still Zach Lindgren, Spence Thompson, Jared Beasley for the moment, although he looks like he's going to cut him under charge. I was going to see, I tell you what, looks like we may be able to get you an infield interview here. As we're going to see if we can make contact with Blake Falone. But right now, it's going to be Mogard. This is the battle for third, and it's a good one as Mogard's now going to look to the inside of Beasley. As you mentioned, Ryan, you've got to wonder if maybe Beasley spent a little bit of the tires up front trying to hold off Zach Lindgren, now maybe just trying to hold on to a pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I've gathered from how far we are now into this run. I do believe this is the longest green flag stretch we have had all night long. And it certainly does look like just as earlier in the race, or it kind of reverted rather from earlier in the race, Jared Beasley earlier on was able to capitalize at the end of those 25 lap runs of the stages and try to get the lead back, both with some excellent work moving on the outside lane to get the lead at the end of stage 1 and some luck at the end of stage 2 when the leaders crashed. Now obviously having the one car of PJ Popham, who was involved in that stage 2 accident, back battling his way into the 4th position and battling side by side for third with Jared. Jared running the bottom all the way through the first half of this run that we are on right now. Does appear to have hurt his tires, and he is just not able to keep the pace with the drivers like Zach Lindgren and his teammate Spence Thompson, who are currently running first and second.
Got Softball 10 SC out there. Mogard's coming. Watch out. He is definitely coming as he just took over the third. Also got Sarah Lindgren out there watching. That's Mama Lindgren to those of you who don't know. And she is cheering on son Zach. Let's go, boy. Well, Mama Lindgren, he is out front right now, and he's starting to try to set sail on him. As that time by, the fastest truck on the racetrack was Zach Lindgren. Spence Thompson right there in the mix, though, as not a whole lot separates him, about a half a tenth. We've got 42 laps to go, folks. If you think it was exciting so far, hang on, because pit strategies, as we mentioned, could come into play here.
Yeah, absolutely. The run has continued, and you're right. Sooner or later, these... Oh, we have a spin out of turn 4. I don't think it's going to bring out a caution, but we do have a truck around. I think it's 27 of Trevor Harmon.
Looks like it is Harmon. He's going to get it going back straight through the tri-oval. Caution won't fly. He's off the racing surface. Race control has alerted everybody of the spin, so we will stay green. We stay green, and still pit strategies. For a second, I thought all could go out the window, but it looks like it's definitely still something that could happen. Take a little bit of look through there. There's Mogard once again. I do want to mention we had 20 trucks start the race. We're now down to 11 on the lead lap. Or 12 of them on the lead lap. The last truck on the lead lap is that driver who's still just out there trying to have a good run. It's the Dalton Dewitt Center Toyota Tundra of Scott LeCaux for HRL Motorsports. Ryan, he's another driver, joined us a little later in the year, kind of having a rookie season here. Definitely, you know, missed the hunt virtue of the late join, but definitely looking to log all the laps he can, get a little bit of knowledge, and become a factor next season as we switch to Sunday nights with the Truck Series.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had the privilege of racing against Scott, and he is a very good driver. He's learned very quickly in this series and run right around the mid-pack range where I was when I was racing here back earlier in the season, and able to obviously improve quite steadily as he's continued on, because right now he's currently, as you mentioned, in that 12th position. And while we're talking about Scott LeCaux, we did have a battle up at the front. The two of Michael Redding, kind of similar to what happened with Jared Beasley before, was just riding that top lane, The 85 pushed up and had to check up out of turn 2. That brought the 89 right to his back bumper, and when it did, it brought the number 1 of Jared Mogard to the back end of the 89. So now the battle is for second with Jared looking to the inside of Spence.
You watched it there. We were watching it live. Lindgren and Thompson went side by side for just a second, and that's all the time that Mogard needed. As it brought those 3 trucks together, now they're starting to gap back out just a little bit. Zach Lindgren has pulled away just a little bit, was once again the fastest truck on the racetrack that time by about 2/10. So you got to think that the slower truck maybe kind of rattled things up a little bit, but now we're going back and we could have a 3-truck battle here just momentarily.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I've noticed the last couple of laps, the 85 of Zach Lindgren is very loose out of turn 2. He's wiggled in the middle of the straightaway almost 2 laps consecutively. I don't know if he's having some sort of a computer issue like he said he had earlier, or perhaps the tires have just totally gone away on that 85 machine. But I've seen the back end of that truck wiggle a couple of times, and it's now twice brought the 89 of Spence Thompson right to his back bumper, and this time Spence is going to try to work that momentum to the outside of his teammate. He may have something to say about this lead by the time they get out of turn 2.
Well, you see the battle starting to shake up as just in front of these guys, there's the 17 truck came into the screen for just a second. That's Scott Lakowitz, the 12th position, the last truck on the lead lap, trying to stay on the lead lap, but I've got to imagine I know Scott Lakow, and as you see it there, just going to go to the high side, let these guys battle it out. Some of the Hunt drivers were affected, but right now, 1 through 3, you see those green spoilers. This is not only a battle for a win tonight, Ryan, to edge your name into the winners column here at Las Vegas. This is a battle for the next round, and these guys, you've got to know that every lap matters.
Yeah, absolutely. These 3 up in the front are well aware of the implications of running well for the remainder of this race. I mean, we're on lap 115, or coming to lap 114 rather, of 146, so it's going to be just about closing into 30 laps to go, and we know these drivers do have to make a pit stop. As we speak, the 96 of Jared Wishon is on pit road, and I haven't been able to tell if anybody else is pit. The 43 of Craig Learman is coming off of the pit lane, the 00 of Gordon Larson as well, so it does look like the cycle of pit stops have started. Perhaps that short pit strategy, as we mentioned, Jimmy McKee also leaving pit lane right now.
Definitely some movement as you're going to see the 5 truck of Jason Alexander. He's pitted from the 6th position, so he's definitely, pit cycle is starting. It's going to be interesting to see if the short pit is going to pay off for anybody or what kind of cyclation we see. Back up front, these guys look like they're showing no sign of pitting just yet. They are going through 1 and 2 right now. It's going to be Zach Lindgren, Spence Thompson, and Jared Mogard. I want to give a shout out real quick to another guy that we haven't spoken a whole lot about. He's the other half of BB Racing. That's Blaine Falone, fellow Florida driver. He and brother Blake, of course, the teammates at BB Racing. The 21 Wawa truck started 18th, and Ryan Daniels right now, he's up inside the top 10 running 6th.
Yeah, he's putting a very solid run, is the 21 of Blaine Falone, and obviously I believe that the pit stop cycles have helped him with his position, as right now he's going to get passed by the 00 of Gordon Larson, who is a lap down right now, virtue of pitting when he did. Jared Mogard is on the pit lane as well as Jared Peasley in the 15, running in pitting out of the top 5 as well. So it'll be interesting to see when the 2 teammates, as I say it, the 89 and the 85 now both hit the pit lane at the same time as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the field cycles out here with some of these guys that pitted a number of laps before the leaders did.
A notable John Kennedy also on pit road in the 42 truck. We'll go, there's Mogard. He's come off of the pit road now, virtue of that blend line that was installed by iRacing just a few weeks ago. Here is Jared Mogard, the teammate still on pit road. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Zach Lindgren now down and away, as well as Spence Thompson. Mogard through the trial. Well, you're going to see your 2 teammates right now in 1 and 2.
I think Mogard's going to have the lead pretty handily here. He's got a lot of speed as he comes out of turn 2. Wow, that short pit strategy definitely did work for that number 1 machine. And right now, the leader is still the 21 of Blaine Falone. He has yet to pit. It'll be interesting to see how long the 21 can stay out and try to see if perhaps he can get a caution to fall his way here.
You know, right now with pit cycles happen, you mentioned it before. You mentioned it. Blaine Falone, right now, if caution comes out, and that changes up the landscape of this race also, because there's a lot of trucks, especially Jared Beasley, who's a lap down right now, Jason Alexander, Kelsey Rogers, Jared Washon, all virtue of the pit cycle. You know, right now your leader stays out, and a lot of good trucks could be trapped a lap down. As a matter of fact, the last truck on the lead lap, if that would happen, would be the 43 truck of Craig Learman, who is currently sitting in the 8th position. You see it there, Learman's at the tri-oval right there at the line. Leader's coming through the tri-oval as well, as Jared Beasley's now going to get his lap back. So Beasley, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, I was trying to think, I wonder if perhaps we were not paying attention and the 21 may have counted these laps. We only have about 20, what will be 25 laps to go this time by. The 21, did he pit early? And with this 12-second gap that he has, could he stay out and potentially try to win this race from this point?
You know, that's definitely something to think about. As right now, Jared Mogard had just pitted. I'm looking at the telemetry. Blaine Falone out there on the old tires. His last lap was a 33.173. Mogard second with a 31.087. That's about a second difference, and Mogard is showing it on the track as that time by cut away 0.3 of a second out of that lead. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Blaine Falone maybe rolls the dice here in Las Vegas, but Mogard's coming, and you've got to think 25 laps is an eternity here, especially when you're a constant about 2 seconds faster than the leader.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a 2-second plus chunk that he took out of that lead that the 21 has right now. That last lap, Mogard really closing in quickly, as the 21 actually is going to get right up against the wall here coming out of turn 4, and he's going to likely have to check up. He's going to let the 27 go by, and I imagine that the 1 is going to inch ever closer, as well as the fact that Jared Mogard has separated himself now from Spence Thompson and Zach Lindgren. So the 1 truck right now looks to be the vehicle to beat, but Spence Thompson closes in the gap now behind him to just 0.6 of a second. So it could still be a battle here as we do continue to get closer and closer to the end of this race, coming to just over 20 laps to go.
It'll be 23, and here comes your leader to pit road. Blaine Falone gonna forfeit the lead, and that's gonna give it to the man who's been up front throughout the regular season a lot of times. The 1 truck of Jared Mogard rebounded from that little incident there right at the end of stage number 2. He got sent to the back, and now, virtue of the pit cycle, finds himself out front, but Spence Thompson that time closes the gap just a little bit. I don't think it's just going to be a walk away as the laps wind down. It'll be 22 to go this time at the line.
Yeah, absolutely, and we look right here, the 96, that looks like, the 98 rather, of Anthony Colantuano, much like the 2 of Michael Redding earlier, may have just worked as a pick. The 1 truck had to slow down, and the 89 of Spence Thompson's going to get side by side for the lead as they go through 1 and 2.
Well, we mentioned Spence Thompson, the 2016 Monday Night Thunder champion. He knows how to get it done in the hunt, knows how to win the hunt. Last year he was in the Final Four at Homestead. This year going to look to repeat the process, maybe capture a little bit of that 2016 glory. However, do not count out the 85 truck. And, you know, it's been noted plenty of times, Ryan, WFO, there's no team orders. It's simply go out, get what you can. Don't wreck a teammate doing it. But nonetheless, I know Zach Lindgren, and I know that he'd love to put that 85 truck in victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Lindgren and the 89 both want to be the one to carry the flag for WFO as they close out the first round of the chase. But these two both racing really hard as the 85 gets loose to the outside of his teammate there. and is going to lose a little bit of track position as the 89 is continuing to try to reel in that one car of Jared Mogard, and Mogard continuing to run that defensive line right around the bottom of the racetrack through the corners, and the 89 of Spence Thompson just hasn't quite been able to get to the inside of him thus far.
There you go. You're going to see Thompson now takes the line away from Zach Lindgren, trying everything he can to hold on to Sagan. You've got to think in the back of these minds, you know, everybody's running for what they can, but these guys start to zigzag or even get side by side. Mogard could walk away. Right now, they're all going to be nose to tail, though, through 1 and 2. With 19 laps to go, it'll be 18 next time by.
And one thing I'm noticing, Bradley, the 89 and the 85, you mentioned it, they are teammates and there are no team orders, but they do know that one of those two would like to be the one that wins this race. They are pushing each other down the straightaways. The draft appears to be playing into an effect at this point for those two, and possibly the 85 of Zach Lindgren trying to push his teammate into a position to try to make a move on the one truck. And if that happens, perhaps the 85 could be the better of the two, or the better of the three rather, and try to leapfrog them both to try to get the lead.
Well, lap traffic going to come into play here just a little bit, perhaps. Trevor Harmon, although, going to give them plenty of room. Harmon had a little bit of damage to the 27 truck early on. Now just trying to leg this thing out to the finish as Harmon's in the 14th spot, 5 laps down. Vince Thompson going to wind it up, fired in there in 1 and 2, drives it down to the white line. We'll see if he can make anything happen. Going to be side by side with Mogard, but it's going to be that top side momentum going to carry him through. Zach Lindgren, Ryan, one of those kind of, you know, almost, if you will, Kyle Larson type drivers. I've raced with Zach a long time. Zach Lindgren is not scared to go up to the high side. Matter of fact, more times than not, more comfortable up there, and we're going to see if he can maybe get the high side rolling, as right now all 3 trucks going to run about the middle seam there.
Yeah, absolutely, and we talked about it earlier, and you just mentioned it. The 85 does like to run that little bit of a higher lane. We saw it earlier pay off over the course of that run when he was running behind Jared Beasley. As the run continued to go on, he was able to save his tires, and right now Zach may be in the catbird seat as the one truck of Mogard continues to run the bottom. The 89 trying to do the same thing to be all over the back of him, while the 85 continues to run that high seam through 1 and 2, saving his stuff just that little bit. May have something to say about this as the laps continue to wind down, coming just about to 13 laps to go next time by.
One notable is Blake Falone in the 11 truck, although he is now quite a few laps down, going to be 61 laps down. He does have the Pokemon machine back out. Oh, Trevor Harmon going to get the wall. As we were watching Blake Falone, Trevor Harmon loses it, gets the wall. He will gather it back up. But what we're talking about, Blake Falone, you know, had that misfortune some laps back. But another driver, never say die, especially with Hunt drivers who fell out way earlier than him. Maybe out here just going to try to get those valuable points.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these guys continue to do that.
Oh, Spence Thompson. Thompson's going to go around. We'll see if he saves it. Looks like he will get it going. However, he's going to lose quite a few positions. I was looking for the live feed at Spence Thompson. It didn't look like I had it. Just trying to go back to some of the trucks in the neighborhood. Holy cow. Problems for Thompson here in the closing laps, inside of 15 to go. That's going to make it a 2-truck battle, and it's going to be Zach Lindgren, Jared Mogard. A couple of prize fighters going to slug it out here. It'll be 12 laps to go that time by.
Absolutely, we are here with just now, as you just mentioned, 12 laps to go. The 85 is all over the back of the one of Jared Mogard, and once again, Bradley.
Caution! Caution flag's going to fly. Trevor Harmon going to get it loose again. We'll go back and take a look at it. Right about that same spot a few laps ago, you saw Harmon get loose. I about come out of my chair that time, collected the wall. We're going to see it, and it's going to be a single car incident as I'm going to bring back up the live feed. But you see Harmon there, the 4th truck on your screen. You're going to see it get out from under him just a little bit. Gonna do a great job of locking it down, noses it into the outside wall. However, unlike the last time when he saved it on the apron, he's right up against the outside wall, and that will bring the caution. Holy cow, Ryan, as if this race didn't have enough perplexity to change up, it now does once again. I can imagine you're going to see the leaders come to pit road, and some guy's going to be able to get a wave around.
Yeah, absolutely. And one person this saves immediately because of how spread out the field was. Spence Thompson spun through the grass a lap before that caution came out, was able to stay in the 4th position, and now is going to come to the pit lane and have a chance to win the race.
Definitely going to even up the playing field for a lot of drivers as we see them all come down pit road. Mogard going to bring it to his pit stall. Zach Lindgren, virtue of a better qualifying position, a qualifying position that was inside the top 5, will have the 5th pit stall. You see them all file in here. Mogard going to rev it up, waits for the service to be completed. We'll ride out with Mogard, see where it falls. He's going to beat Zach Lindgren out. So it'll be Mogard Lindgren. Meanwhile, a little further back, looks like it will be James McKee, Spence Thompson, Jared Beasley right there in the mix, as well as Gordon Larson. Ryan, one of those guys we talked about, is just hung in here and now going to find himself one spot outside of the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I did see there as these drivers were exiting the pit lane, Jared Mogard won the race off of the pit lane in front of Zach Lindgren. James McKee was able to get 3rd, but Spence Thompson, who was in the 4th position when he was coming to the pit line, slowed down and let the 42 of John Kennedy beat him off of the pit lane so that he could be on that inside lane. So it looks like some strategy played there by the 89 to try to put himself on the better line, knowing that we're only going to have less than, definitely less than 10 laps to go, maybe even closer to 5 laps to go by the time we get back started again. So the 89 trying to put himself in the best position possible to try to catch the leaders as quickly as he can.
Definitely so. Hey, we're gonna dial up the 8 truck right now up to 3rd. James McKee, this is Bradley Wilson, the backwards hat booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, man, we've kind of spotlighted you off and on, just kind of been hanging in there, keeping the number 8 Toyota Tundra clean. Think you got anything for it now that you find yourself in the top 3 with just a handful to go?
Let's play some spoiler here real quick. That'd be nice.
Let's play some spoiler. You're in the chase for the BA Graphics Cup Series tomorrow night. However, tonight missed the hunt by just a little bit. I feel like probably nothing would be as gratifying as maybe playing the spoiler and forcing these guys into New Hampshire and possibly Talladega.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun. I just want to get a win in this truck. That'd be pretty cool, because this is a pretty tough series to get a win in, especially with Mogard just slaughtering us every week. So it'd be nice to just get one.
Well, man, you're going to restart inside the Sagan row there. Sagan line's been kind of dominant on these restarts, so we'll definitely keep an eye on you. Hey, before we let you get out of here, does anybody want to give a shout out to?
Just appreciate y'all. Glad to have y'all back broadcasting. That's about it. Just thankful for this league. It's been fun. Just gonna go out here and have some fun.
Heck yeah, man. Well, good luck, and like you said, maybe you'll be playing the spoiler as the lights go off on the pace car. We'll let you get back down to business.
Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. One of the guys, you know, Ryan, I don't want to say with nothing to lose, but definitely one of the guys who you can go out and play a little freer with it, you know, be a little free and easy and just take chances that some of these other guys can't, because right now, if you're James McKee, you're just going out here for a win. Meanwhile, Mogard, Zach Lindgren, John Kennedy, Spence Thompson, and even Craig Learman, these guys know that if they can just pull out a top 5, you know, they're going to have a leg up on quite a few hunt trucks that were taken out in the early wreck.
Absolutely. We've talked about it all night. A guy like John Kennedy, who came in last in the playoff standings, currently running in that 4th position. This could be a huge night for him. But again, James McKee, not in the chase. Nothing to lose and everything to gain by trying to win this race. Nothing but bragging rights on the line for him tonight in that Monster Energy machine. They're coming here to the restart. It's only going to be 7 laps to go, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But also got to keep an eye out for those front two, the 1 and the 85. They're going to be battling extremely hard for this win.
Well, here we go. We're going to do it from John Kennedy. Mogard wastes no time. Loud pedal. Green flag back in the air. You see it there. Beasley going to give Thompson a little shove, get him going. Mogard gaps the field by about 4 or 5 truck lengths now into turn 1, and it's going to be McKee to second under Zach Lindgren.
A good move there by James McKee. That inside line paying dividends again, but these guys are going to have a heck of a time, I think, trying to run down Jared Mogard. I think that's the last thing they wanted him to be able to do is gap them like that, and that's really going to make this tough. It'll be interesting to see if anybody here can catch him here. We're coming now to 6 laps to go. Zach Lindgren all over the back end of the 8 car of James McKee, as well as the 89 of Spence Thompson, who's all over the back end of John Kennedy for the 4th position.
Here we go. Zach Lindgren going to just maybe hang in there, see if he can get McKee a little closer before he makes his move. Fastest truck on the racetrack that time was John Kennedy in the 42 truck.
Definitely, so a lot of speed now, and everybody pushing really, really hard here late in the race. Zach Lindgren to the inside of the 8 of Jamie McKee, and while these two fight, it's just continuing to help that number 1 machine of Jared Mogard continue to try to run away with it right now. A 0.6 of a second gap back to second place. It's gonna take some work here with 5 laps to go for anybody to have a shot at him. It's gonna be interesting to see what Zach can do here now that he's just about cleared the 8 for second place, but the 8 continues to hang on.
Well, right now Mogard's got a mirror full of everything he would like to see, as just in the little time it took Zach Lindgren to get around McKee, that has extended Mogard's lead by about 0.3 of a second. It'll be about 0.7 total as he goes down into turn 1. Laps winding down. It's 4 laps to go. Does anybody have anything for Mogard?
I really don't know at this point. I would say right now Jared Mogard's right where he wants to be. He got an excellent restart, has been able to gap the field, and we're closing in now. We're to the point, if a caution does fly as well, it is all Jared Mogard's race. So the only thing these guys can do is try to run him down if they can, and it looks like it's going to be a tall order because that 1 machine has just been so good on the short run all night long.
Well, the next flag, as you mentioned, Will, in at Mogard right now. We'll take a look off the roof. You see the cars in the distance starting to get a little bit smaller. Mogard has extended the lead out just a little bit. Fastest truck on the racetrack that lap, those going to be Zach Lindgren, the New Mexico driver, as he's trying to do everything in his power right now. 2 to go.
He did cut the lead by over 1/10 that lap. It will be interesting to see here. That 85 continues to get closer and closer. I think he's really going to have to be right on the back bumper.
Oh! Almost got the wall. Lindgren almost gets the wall. Meanwhile, behind him, Jared Beasley's been able to work his way around McKee and Spence Thompson. So right now, you've got 2 drivers, nothing to lose. 2 Hunt drivers all make up the top 5.
It's now down to 0.4 of a second between first and second. Zach Lindgren is coming. I just think it's going to be a little bit too late at this point.
Here we go. Mogard's got 2 corners to go, and he's going to pick up his 11th win of the season off of turn number 4. It's going to be too little too late. Jared Mogard looks like, pending anything that's going to happen, it won't happen, and Mogard's going to pick up his 11th win of the season. Zach Lindgren second. Third will be Jared Beasley. 4th will be James McKee, John Kennedy, and Spence Thompson. Thompson's going to miss out on the top 5 by just 1 spot. Not by lack of try. There was some hard battling going on. Gordon Larson's going to bring it home in 7th. We mentioned he started in the top 10. Ryan was patient all day. Looks like the 00 truck pretty much clean for the most part I can see. So kept it out of trouble, and that's going to garnish him a 10th or a top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to also give a shout to Craig Lehrman. He started 17th tonight, and was able to finish in the top 10 in that 8th position. Jason Alexander in the 9th position, and Blaine Falone Started in 18th, able to get a top 10 here. A good run for that 21 machine.
Try to do the quick math in my head and see who your hard charger of the night's going to be. Lehrman picks up nine spots. Lane picked up 8.
I think we have a tie.
We could possibly. I'm going through here looking. McKee started 12th, finished 4th. He picks up 8. I'll tell you what, we're going to get top 3 interviews. I was trying to get your hard charge of the award before we got to that. And I believe it's going to be... See, once again, I'm looking here. Craig Lehrman picked up 9. I believe Lehrman's going to be your hard charger of the night.
I agree. I believe that is right. It looked like Bogard picked up 10 and...
Okay, Bogard...
John Kennedy.
I tell you, so it'll be John Kennedy who picked up 10. I'll tell you what, we're gonna talk with him. Top 5 finisher, gonna pick up 10 spots. Before we get to your top 3 here, John Kennedy, that's Bradley Wilson, the backwards hat booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, you're gonna bring it home in the top 5. You're also gonna pick up tonight's hard charger award. Great run. We talked to you pre-race. You said if you could just keep it out of trouble, you know, low seed coming in, definitely going to have some improvement. Hunt driver's going to find trouble, and you're not one of them. Great run out there for you. Tell me what it's like.
A lot of close calls with some of them accidents. I think it was the 11 that got upside down right in front of me, and I barely missed him.
Yeah, definitely. We watched that one, went back, took a look at it from quite a few different angles. It was a close call. Things happened quickly. You know, like I said, top 5, you've got to have a little bit of breathing room next week as we go into New Hampshire.
Yeah, I was just hoping for a top 5 because New Hampshire ain't really one of my strong points, and be able to get a top 5 here is just amazing.
Well, man, definitely so. Before we let you get out of here, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank Michael Redding and all my friends watching. You guys for putting this on.
Heck yeah, man. Well, go celebrate. Like I said, gonna finish in the top 5 after starting 15th. That's a 10-spot pickup. Also gonna be awarded the BA Graphics Hard Charger Award of the night. So congratulations, man, and we'll see you in New Hampshire.
Thanks.
All right, well, here we go. I tell you what, we're gonna now talk to the guy who finished in 3rd. Ryan, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Jared Beasley, this is Ryan Daniels from the Backwards Hat Production booth. Do you have a copy?
I got you, Ryan.
Well, Jared, we saw you have a really good run tonight, buddy. You were able to finish in the 3rd position after winning stages 1 and 2. Do you think you just had anything for the one truck of Mogard and the 85 of Zach Lindgren, or do you think you just needed to be in a better position there on that last restart?
Better position on that last restart would have been awesome, but I fell off badly through the through the first part of the last half, and ended up getting not a EOL, speeding in pit. So I had to hold, and came back out about 9th or so, and then made my way up to about 7th, and gave it all I had on that last restart, and it came from 7th to 3rd, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that.
Well, we definitely saw you put in a good run, and I definitely agree with you. We saw you fall back there at the really the first half of the final segment there of the race, and you definitely put in a strong run for the number 15 machine tonight. And before we let you go, is there anybody out there you want to thank?
Definitely want to give a big old shout out to MR Motorsports for all my teammates and all the help they provide. And got to thank JV Paints, and I also want to thank y'all guys for putting on these shows and doing the broadcast. Y'all do an awesome job, and I appreciate it.
Well, we thank you for taking the time to come up here and talking with us again. Congratulations on the 2 stage wins and the podium finish, and we wish you the best of luck the next time you join us here.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Once again, that was MR Motorsports driver of the number 15 truck, JB Paints, Jared Beasley, going to bring it home in third. I'm now going to dial up the man who finished in second,
Run before
Zach Langren. This is Bradley Wilson, the backwards hat booth. You got a copy.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, man, drove your guts out. Going to start fifth, finish second. You know, what's it been like since the last time we talked to you?
The truck started to feel really good, and it fell off really quick. The truck started to get loose, which I like. I really like a loose track, a loose truck. But these are so much different than the Cup car. I guess I know how to drive a loose Cup car better than I do a loose truck. But yeah, on that last run before the green flag pit stops, we were starting to get loose, and we could beat people out of 1 and 2, but we couldn't beat them out of 3 and 4. That's where I thought my advantage would come, but it was kind of disheartening when it wouldn't. But a lot racier, to say the least, the last time you talked to us. A lot more racy. A lot of guys were not putting themselves in bad positions, just a lot of guts going on out there, and it was really fun to watch and really fun to drive. Like I said, it was a lot of fun.
Well, man, you know, a win and put yourself in and have to dodge the bullet at Talladega would have been the ideal situation. However, we're going to talk to you after a second place run. One of the only few, as a matter of fact, you, John Kennedy, and Mogard going to be the only Hunt drivers to finish inside the top 5. I know, as you mentioned, you don't want to see misfortune come to anybody. However, I've got to imagine that it feels good knowing that you've got some kind of safety net going into New Hampshire next week.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I said, I don't like passing people like that. I don't like competing people like that, or against, I should say. It's kind of rough to say, you know, yeah, I'm glad for the safety net. Sucks to be my competitors. I don't want to say that, but I mean, like you said, it's good to have that safety net, especially going into New Hampshire next week. I like running New Hampshire. It's a tough racetrack, but I like running it. I figured after everyone had their misfortune earlier, if we can at least run top 5, we'd at least gap most of the field pretty much as best as we can. Lead a few laps, gap them there too. But I'll take a second tonight, especially for the points. Going into New Hampshire, I have high hopes over there. Hopefully, we can at least get another top 5 again, finish both stages well, start gapping our field, at least lock us in even on points. Anything to dodge Talladega, pretty much.
Man, I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that you've made the Hunt both previous years to this, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I believe, is it last year you made it out of round 1?
Yeah.
Last year you made it out of round 1 into round 2. The year before that, out of you didn't come out of round number 1. So you never know, man. Maybe this is your years. You've definitely kind of had a coming out party this year. So good luck and in the quest for the BA Cup, and we'll see you next week at New Hampshire.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, that was driver of the number 85 truck, Zach Lindgren. Ryan Daniels, I believe you're now standing by with race winner Jared Mogard.
Well, I'm down here in Victory Lane. The confetti is everywhere. And Jared Mogard, how's it feel to get your 11th win on the season and your first in the Hunt here as you've just successfully transferred to the second round of the chase?
Oh man, I don't even know what to say. That was a hard-fought win, and that was an awesome race. I can't believe we pulled it off.
Well, we saw you do an absolutely immaculate job there on that last run, able to hold off Zach Lindgren and Spence Thompson, who were giving you a heck of a fight there just before that final caution, able to retain the lead after that lightning-fast pit stop by your pit crew, and got you out in front in just a absolutely 110% perfect restart that got you out to that lead there, and did everything you could to hang on for the win. Absolutely impressive stuff there, and got to feel good to be able to say that you're not going to have to worry going into New Hampshire, and even more importantly for some other chasers, Talladega.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spoke about it in pre-race. You know, if we were lucky enough to get the win, it was definitely going to be a big help not have to worry about Talladega. Even if another chase driver would have got the win, it would have made it makes it 250% easier to not have to sit and stress about Talladega. I don't know if I would have been able to worry about that because I stressed enough just for this race of Vegas, let alone having to deal with Talladega. But yeah, everything just fell our way, and I don't know, man. If that last yellow didn't come out, I think Zach had me. I was starting to get a little loose. I think I ran a little too hard there, but that final run, we just got a good restart, tried something on the restart, and it worked, thankfully, and then basically never lifted for 7 laps and got the win.
Well, you definitely did an excellent job there hanging on to the lead at the end of the race. You started in 11th tonight, finished in the first position, so a net gain of 10 positions to take the win here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Before we let you go and celebrate with your team, is there anybody out there you want to thank?
Yeah, before I do that, I gotta apologize to PJ. I'm not really sure what happened there. Just kind of a racing deal, but feel bad we got together. They're coming to the end of stage 2. Just hard racing going for them stage points. They're important, and just hate that happened. It wasn't intentional. Just a hard racing deal. So didn't mean to take him or anybody else that's running for the championship out like that. But that's hard racing going for the stage. I just got to thank my sponsors, Nick Kaufman, Rick Kaufman Racing Graphics, and Twitchy Race Reports for being on this truck. And thank you guys for the league, Bradley and all of his guys. They did an outstanding job. And you guys for the broadcast and all the fans for tuning in. So hopefully they enjoyed. This is a pretty good race here to kick off the playoffs. And I expect more of the same all the way down to Homestead.
Well, we thank you for taking the time to talk with us after your win. Congratulations on winning the first race in the hunt, and we wish you luck the rest of the way, and good luck the next 2 weeks now that you just be able to kind of relax and try to go and pick up a couple more wins to the 11 that you already have this season, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Once again, that was race winner Jared Mogard picked up his 11th win of the season. 146 laps have come and gone here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ryan Daniels, it definitely didn't come and go without its share of action.
No, certainly not. We saw a couple of big wrecks early in the race that really were able to change the complexion of not just the race as a whole, but definitely shaking up the way this championship's going to have to go out the next 2 weeks as these drivers look forward to going to New Hampshire. And as we've mentioned numerous times, Talladega, which is really going to be a wild card now when you look at some of the guys like PJ Popham, Joe Perchette, who really both were the last 2 finishers on the night. Blake Falone as well down there at the bottom of the running order in 18th, 19th, and 20th. So definitely going to be hard work for those guys moving forward, but it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens for these guys as the season progresses, and only 9 races left, so these guys are just going to ever have to work harder and harder if they want to have a shot at winning that championship.
Well, here we go. We're going to run down your finishing order before we get out of here. As Ryan said, Jared Mogard going to pick up 10 spots on his way to his 11th win of the season. Zach Lindgren going to come up from 5th to finish 2nd. Jared Beasley didn't really come out of the top 5 all night except there at the end and was still able to rally back to a top 3, finishing 3rd. 4th will be James McKee after starting 12th. And rounding out your top 5, another 10-spot gain. That's your Hard Charger Award of the night, John Kennedy.
Yeah, and then coming in the 6th position is going to be Spence Thompson, rebounding from that spin. Not quite able to make that choice that he made to restart on the inside line, work on that final run, but still a solid finish for the 89 machine, all things considered. And behind him in the 7th position, the 00 of Gordon Larson Jr. 8th, the 43 of Craig Lehrman. 9th, Jason Alexander in that number 5 machine. And as we mentioned before, rounding out the top 10 in the Wawa Chevrolet was Blaine Falone.
11th through 15th is going to look like this. Jared Washon, the Carolina driver, after starting 7th, going to lose a few spots over the 9th to finish 11th. Scott LeCoe will finish 12th. He's going to be your last truck on the lead lap. Trevor Harmon, you saw him have the mishap there with just a few laps to go get the outside wall. Finishes 13th. 14th after starting 4th will be Kelsey Rogers 6 lap down. And rounding out your top 15, that's the Evil Outlaw out of Batesville, Arkansas, Michael Redding.
Then we look at the drivers who were caught up in the incidents and were either able to salvage the night or had to park it from that point forward. The 98 of Anthony Colantuano is going to come home in the 16th position. David Lamont in the number 90 is going to come home 17th. Blake Falone in 18th. Joe Pritchett in 19th. And PJ Popham is going to round out the field after leading a bunch of laps early on in this race and starting on the pole is going to finish 20th position.
Well, what was triumphant for some, heartbreak for another. 146 laps, like I said, you've just seen here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We hope you all enjoyed tonight's coverage of the Monday Night Thunder Series from the NMNTS. This was Backwards Hat Productions. I am Bradley Wilson for Ryan Daniels. Everybody have a good night and a safe week. We'll see you next time out.